So I'll count it off.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3.
Just let's go.
1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the rehearsal room. Nick here.
Aaron's here.
This time around, we're going to do a little bit of an exploration on music streaming platforms specifically. I know there's actually platforms for all kinds of streaming. There's movies, books and stuff like that. But since we are primarily a music-based podcast, we're going to kind of look at the pros and cons of the different platforms that are available. Do you have like a couple of them maybe off the top of your head that you kind of looked into?
Just what I kind of looked at, what the first thing that interested me was kind of going like, what is like the ranking, right? Like my family alone, myself, my son, my wife, we use Spotify. My daughter recently turned to Tidal, which I had not really ever heard of. I know I'd seen the name. So one of the things I looked at was kind of like, well, who's the biggest? I mean, everybody, Spotify is the number one that most people would think. Well, actually, there's one bigger. There's one in China, Q Quote or something like that. I guess just a little bit as far as many people use it. Of China. That was the first thing that seemed to me, just because you go like, as you said, there are so many streaming.
There are, yeah.
To a point where you're just like, I don't even know that there's enough music to fill these things.
It's funny you say this because this is one of the criteria points that I looked at as far as seeing,
Right.
I kind of narrowed it down to 6 of them.
Yeah.
If that.
Okay.
I'll just say them up
Yeah,
front.
please.
One of them was Spotify, obviously,
sure. Yeah.
our home base.
Yes.
We do our main platform that we post on is Spotify. So thank you for that.
Yes.
But also I looked into Tidal. I looked into Amazon Music.
Yes.
I guess it's known as Amazon HD Music.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
I would have thought they do Amazon Hi-Fi, but HD Music. Okay.
Okay.
Qobuz or something. Qobuz.
Okay. I did not see that one. Okay.
That
That's an
one,
interesting
yeah, that one was one of the ones that I kept popping up a lot for me.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then out of left field, but not really, Bandcamp and Ampwall.
Oh, Ampwall, I did not. Yeah, that wasn't the ones that I saw. The ones I just kind of wrote down ones that I knew of, or that I knew people used, and kind of I got about 7 of them because ones that also, which I was kind of surprised. Pandora apparently still around.
Yeah.
Out of my list, they were the number 5th one as far as users and so on, and music amounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bandcamp, interestingly enough, was on the list, but it did not have. I couldn't put it in a ranking because it doesn't really know how many people are using it per se.
Right.
Which I thought that was interesting. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
definitely. Spotify was one. Amazon Music, Pandora still being around. YouTube pretty high up there too, as far as user base.
Yes. Apple Music.
So that I kind of it's only the buying of music that's going out of business with Apple, right? You can still stream it.
You can actually still buy it.
On
the iTunes store.
Okay. But I thought they were getting rid of some of that. I thought that's what
So I don't know if the iTunes store is becoming like the Apple store, right? Because the whole iTunes platform, as we used to know it, is getting kind of elbowed out.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So iTunes, as we knew it, is no longer a thing.
Okay.
Now it's Apple Music, and to buy stuff, you go on the Apple store.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Confusing, I know.
Yeah.
But
because weird part is I still have an iTunes as far as storing my music.
Yes.
So I still use that. Plus I have an iPod.
Right.
So, but I haven't bought anything from iTunes in years.
Yeah, if you were to, you would go to the Apple store.
Okay. That answers that.
Yeah. So I also actually got another one that I didn't look too much into, but this one actually checked in or clocked in as the most content. And that was SoundCloud.
Yes. Now, yes, I saw the same thing. Yes.
So I don't know if you saw this metric where most of the known platforms, Spotify, Apple, etc., they like to publish or at least present themselves as having over 100 million songs.
Right.
Which sounds cool.
Yeah.
Right? But if you look at it, they're not singular entries.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of these songs might be re-edits, redubs, remixes, and stuff like
Gotcha,
this.
gotcha.
Right?
Live version, double
Like,
live.
exactly, right. Which I love.
Yeah,
like,
sure,
don't
sure,
get me
sure.
wrong. I love that they have that.
Right,
But
not everything
SoundCloud,
is original music.
right?
per se.
SoundCloud boasts a library of 400 million songs.
Now, is that because that is simply SoundCloud? I've barely ever really used. I mean, if a band that I'm into or an artist says my stuff is on SoundCloud, I'll go to SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Is that because it is more user based in what you can upload? Like I can upload something as opposed to Spotify, right? To some degree, I have to. Is
I
there a
guess
verification kind of thing? Maybe
there is, but I think it's just easier to self-publish on SoundCloud.
okay.
Whereas with Spotify now, you kind of have to go through a distributor. And there's 3 main ones. So the 3 distributors of music that I at least know of, there might be more, is TuneCore,
Okay.
CD Baby,
Okay.
and DistroKid.
Okay. Distro certainly and CD Baby. I do know those two. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the ones that kind of get the music onto the platforms,
Okay.
and then they get distributed. Like you can use DistroKid to put it on multi-platforms.
Okay.
And then, there are issues with that as well, because at one point Spotify did own a big chunk of DistroKid. So at one point Spotify was going to get into the distribution game as well, which I don't know if that would have been a great thing. But, we'll talk about that a little bit more. So what do you have criteria that you were looking at when you were kind of gauging these against each other?
I'll be honest. I was like most of these things. I'm usually very late to the game.
Sure.
So the first time I ever tried any of these things, as far as streaming goes,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I tried iTunes, but that's my collection.
Right.
So would have been Pandora. Right away, my problem with Pandora was just the part where it's just like I can't listen to albums. You know what I mean? I really have no say unless I pay.
Right.
To skip stuff. Their algorithm for a lot of the stuff I wanted to listen to was kind of you can. Like anything metal wise, it was just forget about it. I would, most of that is on me being very picky in what I like and don't like. So putting black metal was like, forget it. You know what I mean? It wasn't worth it. Interestingly enough, I did find when I wanted to listen to jazz, that could be much better. I could actually put like hard bop and go, oh, cool. These are songs I know, but I'm also discovering other songs from other artists. That I found like the more I refined the search on a Pandora, the better.
Okay.
And then eventually my kids and my wife got Spotify, and they're the big kid on the block.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I just went. As far as criteria goes, to be completely honest with you, I like selection. Yeah. That's number one. I think more than anything else would be selection.
Okay.
Like a YouTube, I can't imagine using that. I don't particularly. YouTube, I guess I'm too much about video than it is audio. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I just never associate that with it. Interestingly enough, I talked to my daughter. She actually tried YouTube before she went to Tidal. She was not happy with it either. So yeah, as far as any kind of criteria, I'd be lying if I said I need FLAC and I need it to be high end and all that.
And so
No.
this is something that I looked at. I looked at the quality of audio.
Yeah.
I looked at the user experience,
Sure.
and I looked at the size of catalog and just the I guess the how easy it is to find new things.
Absolutely. Yes.
So some of these did come out on top of even Spotify, which
Okay.
might not be a surprise.
Yeah.
Spotify does have, and I'll start with Spotify.
Please.
Spotify does have maybe the easiest user interface.
I would say of what little I've used in other places, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm kind of looking at this in 2 ways. One,
Sure.
as an able-bodied person who can see,
understandably so.
and as a blind person.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So
No.
that is super easy to kind of just go on there, type in whatever you want to look
Mm-hmm. Right.
for, and chances are 9 times out of 10 it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you can actually also do this with YouTube. YouTube is also very easy to use.
Okay.
Obviously, you can type
Yeah.
plop in
Oh, yeah,
whatever,
for sure.
and it'll pop up. Amazon, I'm sorry, not Amazon. Apple Music is just as easy as Spotify,
Okay.
but where you start declining is in Amazon.
Okay.
Which you would think all the money in the world,
Yeah.
and they don't have a good user interface.
I don't like it. I've used it only to because I am an Amazon subscriber,
Sure.
cable wise, and I am whatever that where you pay your
The
Prime.
Prime?
Thank you. I pay for it. I don't have to know what it is, I guess. But so you get like the music unlimited, but it's not the best package of the music.
Right.
It's a different package. So I've only used it to buy stuff like digitally. If sometimes normally this is hip hop mainly is like they want to sell you a digital copy for $20 and I'm like, well, you kiss my ass. I'm going to go to Amazon and I mean I want the artist to get money, but I'm not giving you $20 for a digital download.
Right.
I'll go to Amazon and I usually will download from there. That's all I've ever used it for, and I'm with you. Typing it in, trying to find it, it's just like, man, this is not. And you're spoiled because I use Spotify. And you're right. I think it has one of the better interfaces, and you just like once you get spoiled on that, and like anything else, like I have a PC. Prior to that, I had a Mac for forever.
Yeah.
It took me probably a year to get back to used to using a PC. So that's some of it too. But yeah, their interface just and
it's very intuitive.
Well, I think too, like you said, with all the money when it comes to Amazon, but it's also like I just wonder if that's one of those kind of like, let's just get into the game and see what it does.
also think-
Since we don't need to, we can afford to have it or not. It doesn't really matter.
I think that's also what happened because I think they put so much effort on the Prime aspect and on the movie library aspect, which Amazon's movie library is
it's fantastic.
pretty good.
Yeah, I use it.
I know they are one of the demons of the world.
Yeah,
but
no doubt. I
it
serve
is-
that master. There's no doubt about it.
And then you go over to like Qobuz or Qobuz, which again, don't ask me how to spell it. But that one is a French
Interesting.
platform.
Okay.
Apparently, it's also very easy to use, but there are tiers, like with every other service.
Sure.
There are tiers that you pay, different services or whatever, or different benefits. What was the other one? Bandcamp can be a little difficult for people to use, I think, because they're not so into using the search feature.
Yeah, so like I have a Bandcamp account.
Yeah.
When I purchase music, much like yourself, we are both simpatico on this. Like, look, I want my money to go to the artist.
Yes.
So if I can buy your stuff off of Bandcamp, I always will. For lots of different reasons, I will always do that. And sure, it gets put in your library. That's great. But it is kind of weird. It's like when you go to find something outside of the app that you're not logged into, real pain in the ass.
Definitely.
But when you're logged in, somehow it's a little easier and a little better, and even the interface is a little
It's a little wonky.
Like I have to go to the heart button that tells me those are mine. Like what? That's the like button. The heart. What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yep.
But anyway, I'm with you. Yeah, I think that one. And it's surprising how many people don't know about Bandcamp unless you're actually into music and you buy music. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
No,
yes.
like most of the people I work with, they're not buying music like you and I do, and they're certainly not into music like you and I are. So when I say Bandcamp, I mean it's just a blank look on their face. Like, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
Which feels weird because in our world, there's not a band in the world that doesn't say, "Hey, go to our Bandcamp." You know?
Right. It is the one that's the most it gives you the most access to artists. But if you try giving someone's Bandcamp address to like I'm gonna just say it this way. I mean no negative connotations, but to like a superficial music listener.
Yes.
If you try saying like, "Hey, this is my band.bandcamp.com,"
Right.
you're gonna be like, "What?"
Are you on Spotify?
Yeah, exactly. Aren't you on Spotify? Make it easy for me.
Right.
So I think the interface on Bandcamp, while people who are already aware of Bandcamp, it's easy for them. You're right. Anybody outside of that sphere is going to have trouble.
Yeah.
Right. And and I think maybe they're integrating this now, but Bandcamp is not all that great for making playlists.
I've never even tried for that.
Yeah, I think they're actually integrating something like this now,
Okay, interesting.
which is helpful as fuck because there are many times when I'm listening to something and I think, oh yeah, that would actually sound great sandwiched in between these other two songs.
Sure.
But yeah, so I mentioned YouTube again. YouTube does offer a huge library, and actually the beautiful thing about YouTube is that you get older stuff that maybe gets forgotten about
Oh, certainly.
Right.
I mean, there's stuff where you can only find it on YouTube. They're not putting it on Bandcamp, and you can't find it. They don't have a Bandcamp, that's
Right,
for sure. The band
right.
isn't together, and the label isn't around.
Yeah.
And they're also not putting it on Spotify. So
Yeah.
Oh, there's especially a lot of, quite frankly, a lot of underground black metal stuff. Like,
Yep.
forget it. You're not finding it on anything.
A lot of 90s era
Mm-hmm.
a lot of hardcore punk bands that are not around anymore.
Right.
Like I'm pretty sure you can find a couple of versions of a lot of their songs on
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, which is great. Kobaz, again, it's the French company. That
Mm-hmm.
one actually has a pretty good search feature.
Okay.
It's good, interestingly enough, for jazz,
Okay.
classical music.
Okay.
Much like Apple Music, you can buy music on Kobaz or Kobaz.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so for I think the rate, the going rate is $108 a year.
Okay.
But in that time, you can choose albums and download the music.
I think YouTube offers something like that too. If I remember, there's a
Okay.
guy I worked with who had YouTube. I remember one time debating like what's the better one. I had Spotify, he had YouTube, and I think he did say something like once a month you get like 2 free albums or something, something like that maybe. But I was still just like, I don't know, man. The YouTube part just doesn't. I don't think music when it comes to that necessarily. I mean, and that's on me more than
Right.
YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, well, my daughter said when she used it, the thing she didn't like, and I imagine this is maybe, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. I think she was talking about in the tiers because she did like the 1 month for free thing.
Yes, yeah.
So she was making playlists with YouTube, but however you make the playlist, that's it. You can't move things around. You can't put them in different ways. Also, trying to find an album, well, sometimes if an artist put up the album, great. But if the artist didn't, and it's all fan and user generated,
Yeah.
well, then you got to find each individual song unless
Right.
somebody put the whole album up.
Also, sometimes you can't play certain albums in certain countries,
Oh, right.
so
oh,
you get blocked that way,
Ugh.
right?
yeah. And I guess I think that's what I'm learning too with a lot of this because I looked at some of the like, they were like, what's this best for and what's this best,
Yeah.
one of the things Spotify got was like when it comes to the free tier, it's the best of the free tiers of all the other things is one of the ratings I saw, whatever that means, you know what I mean? But I think what like a lot of these to me is like it's how I use them,
Right.
Some things on Spotify are really, as of late, have been coming around, or maybe I'm just noticing them. But like you can go and it'll link to a place where you can buy the CD or you can buy
Yes.
the record.
Yeah.
Live shows now, it's telling it. The last show you just played with Conan, it was on the thing.
It was on Spotify.
Yeah, I was listening. And it says tickets to the show. I hit it, and it's like not only can it go get tickets, but it'll tell me I can say, look, I'm going to the show. Kind of like where Facebook used to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
that's kind of cool.
I
kinda
also
like that.
think a lot of these platforms are looking to get into the social networking type of aspect.
Yeah, Bandcamp's pretty good with that, where you can leave comments. I like that.
Yes, so Bandcamp is an interesting one because you cannot not only leave comments, you can choose to be seen as like a supporter of the band.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to a band's profile, and you scroll down, it'll tell you exactly how many people are supporters of the band, not only
Yeah.
buying your music, but also just
Yeah.
kind of throwing money your way or,
Sure,
or
sure.
supporting all that stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
I actually like that feature. I happen to to kind of find people from like Instagram or like Twitter on Bandcamp
Oh,
because I
interesting.
recognize their screen names, and I'm like, oh, now I know what kind of music you like.
Yeah,
you
right
know?
on, right on.
So it's cool. I think it's cool in that manner.
And that social aspect of it for sure. I think.
Yeah.
I think they've got it. Pretty. They're kind of whatever they're lacking in the search engines and the user. That part, I think they're way ahead.
It's
of.
way ahead, yes. And the thing with Bandcamp too is that there is a huge musical community, not just in like the specific genre that you
Sure,
like,
sure.
but just music in general.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a huge catalog of music to go through on Bandcamp.
Very much so.
Now, I did mention Ampwall. This is a newer service. It was started up by a gentleman named Chris Grigg.
Okay.
He is from the band Whoa,
Oh yes, yes, yes.
right? The black metal band from I think New York.
Whoa.
That's Joey's band.
Yeah.
So he and a group of people designed Ampwall, which was to kind of provide an alternative to Bandcamp.
Okay.
Because Bandcamp does take fees out of purchases made by people.
Sure, sure.
So it charges the bands like a 10 to 15%.
Okay.
Maybe per item.
Okay.
and when you add that up in a year, it does
Sure.
it does add up. Ampwall, as far as I am aware, charge a $10 to $15 a year, which
Wow.
is pretty good.
Yeah.
It is a smaller community, but you're able to have a bit of a social kind of network in there as well.
Okay. Does it work the same way Bandcamp does, where it's like, here's our album, you can purchase it here, you can stream it here, you
Yes,
can.
yeah,
Okay.
for the most part, yes. It's just I think giving a little bit more resources back to the artist.
Okay,
right.
all
So a
right.
little bit more of your money comes back to you.
Oh, that's good.
I think they do charge for like purchases made, but it's not as much as Bandcamp.
Okay.
Bandcamp has this thing where like if you don't make continuous sales, you'll get charged. You'll get dinged for like the 15-18%
Oh.
as if it were your first purchase again.
Oh.
So, just some things to kind of be aware of from,
Yeah, I
from
did not
these
know that.
that I know are very beloved by people who listen to music, especially like in the genres that we listen to.
Sure.
I know they'll primarily go to Bandcamp to support artists and maybe to Spotify to keep listening, right?
Yeah, Bandcamp I just remember when Bandcamp came out, it felt like a game changer. It felt like something that was going to be more equitable to bands, and for the most part it was, and I guess is.
Yeah.
But then Spotify came along and it was like a fucking bulldozer that just like who does Pandora anymore? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
hey, you still have a MySpace? I mean, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I can't believe it's still around, to be honest. Now, again, I haven't used it in years, so maybe they've had to soup some shit up because of it.
Right.
But yeah, I think, like I said, for me too, is a lot of it is what I use it for. If I'm buying, I'm doing Bandcamp every time. Spotify really for me is more about it's my radio, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's where I go to find. I don't find new bands there. I will say that Spotify, for me, in the way I use it, and maybe I'm using it incorrectly. Maybe that's some of it. I don't think they've ever recommended me a fucking thing that I've ever liked. Not once. I use Last.fm to do that, which I recently just saw an article that said Last.fm was probably the best of all the musical socials, and we screwed up. Where a lot of people in the comments were like, "Fuck you, I still use Last.fm." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." You know what I
I
mean?
want to use Last.fm. I just get confused by it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And I have found stuff on Spotify.
Okay.
Like I mean, I have to be honest. I find a lot of new stuff on Spotify.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I just never get recommended it. It's when there's a feature on Spotify. If you like a song,
Right.
you can click on the song and go to the options and then go to the radio based off of that song.
Okay.
So when I do that, it'll bring up a whole slew of bands that I've never heard about.
Sure. Yes.
And since they're recommending songs that sound like the one I like anyway,
I got you.
that's how I'll discover new stuff.
Okay.
you
All
know?
right. I don't.
But if it's like hey, check out this week's ambient music.
yeah, like the weekly releases.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
like that's not gonna help me at all.
Well, that, and sometimes they do like, here's what we recommend for you, and it's like,
Right.
well, 8 of those bands I already listened to.
Yeah.
You're not recommending
Yeah,
me
yeah.
anything. That's just telling me what I already like.
Yes,
And then
yeah.
others are just like, I don't know how you made that connection, but okay.
Right. Yeah.
I guess, and like I said, what I do is everything from Spotify gets plugged into my Last.fm scrubbles. So once it gives me those, then I just go for the music section of Last.fm that it tells me, here's some recommendations, and that has been a gold mine. Every Sunday, essentially, I go on there, and that's where I find new stuff. And then sometimes I can find it on Spotify. Sometimes I cannot. Sometimes I find it more on Bandcamp and stuff like that. One of the downsides to doing that, in my opinion, the only real downside is they'll recommend you a band, and I'll find it on Spotify. And then I listen to 3 songs and go, not for me. But Last.fm goes, I don't know, buddy. You played 3 songs. Why don't we give you 15 bands that sound just like that one? You're like, no, but I don't like that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can be the downside of it. But yeah, Spotify, I know one of the biggest things that people put down on it, and I think it's something that you and I totally support, is the part we feel like artists aren't getting their due.
That's another thing.
Financially from the Spotify part.
That is one of the cons for sure. I mean, we can talk about it now.
Yeah,
There are a handful of issues that I particularly have with Spotify.
I hear you.
To begin with, is artists' payout is not what it should be whatsoever.
Right.
It's literally pennies on the hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
Right. They do give
Well, especially if you're an unsigned artist, right? I mean, even
big time,
more so.
Yes, yeah, they give preferential treatment to major artists.
Yeah.
With the introduction of AI,
Mm-hmm.
that also kind of muddies up the water a lot more because they'll also give preferential treatment to AI.
Although now they are saying I'm sure you saw this latest article, they have now wiped out a shit ton of AI bans and so on and so forth. And their claim was because the reason they're doing it here more than anywhere else is because our incentives are so much better than everybody else, which I thought was
Which, yeah. Well,
that was an interesting.
I learned about a hack that people were doing.
Oh.
So on something, and I'm going to say this with a bit of a warning. Please don't try this. I heard about this on a video. I don't want to link anybody to the video because then I don't want to get accused of.
Sure. No.
But there are options on these music distribution sites to add your content to playlists.
Okay.
So if you use one of these 3 previously mentioned distribution sites and you select this option, you actually don't control what playlists you get added to. Some of these playlists might be AI playlists. So when Spotify dings your content for being on an AI playlist,
Oh, bummer.
you're just using an option that was given to you.
Right.
And now you're dinged on Spotify.
Right.
So it's kind of like,
Yeah, I
hey,
know.
I'm going to help you with this hand, but I'm also going to slap you with the other hand. Right?
Yeah. And that goes to the point you were making prior to, where it's like when it comes to their recommendations, they will always push the most popular part
The most popular,
than anything that's underground. And
Right,
that to me is where I think I also differ, not because I'm so cult. It's just to say in general,
Which
like,
he is.
Which I don't mean to brag, but it's just one of those things where it's like I'm not looking for Trivium. I know what
Right.
Trivium sounds. We all know what Megadeth sounds like. I'm not interested in that. I'm trying to find the stuff that's way beneath that.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh, I did.
Yeah, so that and I'm hoping that this is something that they've kind of fixed on their end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't want to really go into the whole anti-AI thing.
No,
but I think my stance on it from the previous episode that we
Absolutely.
did is pretty well known at this
Same.
point.
Absolutely.
I think the AI really did kind of complicate things for
sure.
just because of how rampant it was let
Yes.
loose on something like Spotify.
No doubt about it.
I don't know the exact extent of AI's kind of effect on the other platforms.
Yeah.
I just think because I use Spotify the most,
Same.
that's the one that I'm the most
And when you're
aware
the
of.
big kid in town, that's usually what people are going to be talking about.
Right,
anyway.
right.
Yeah.
So for me, like a couple of cons, I guess, for Spotify
Mm-hmm.
would be the non-fair payout to artists. For
sure.
The use of the AI.
Yeah.
And I'll mention this. I won't get too much into this, but the owner of Spotify,
Yes.
using not just the personal data of all of its clients, but using the funds that he
Yes.
makes off of Spotify to kind of put into a militarized group, which is doing some harm in another part of the world.
Nobody buys bombs because they do nice things.
Exactly. Right. So
Bombs
like,
do bad things.
yeah. So I forget his first name. I think
I
it's-
can't either.
I think
I-
it's X is his S or ECK. It's not. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm sure there's an umlaut in there somewhere.
Yeah, right. Some smorgasburgers. But yeah, so this gentleman, I think he uses the money he makes off of Spotify, which is a great platform.
Yeah.
For some kind of not great reasons, and I understand that people leave, the platform as a whole.
It's been happening more.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad that they do that.
Yeah,
I
good
know
for
for
those
some
artists.
people it's performative, but it's kind of putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Which is the first way somebody can protest.
For
you know?
sure.
So if you're one of the people who's kind of ditched Spotify for these reasons, totally understandable. And I
don't
support
judge.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what it comes down to is like, well, then where's my alternative? My daughter, like I said,
Yeah.
that was why she left.
Yeah.
She took off and she tried YouTube for a month.
Yeah.
Really did not like it at all. Heard good things about Tidal. One of the things she loved about it was finding out she's more playlist oriented than I am. She found out that you could essentially kind of not necessarily drag and click, but whatever your playlists were on Spotify, you can pretty much like bring them over to
Yeah,
Tidal.
you can integrate them in the title.
And she was very happy to hear that, and she likes it a lot. She also, something I didn't read, and she mentioned it. the quality of the sound is better on Tidal. They are rated very highly on that.
That's another one I wanted to get into, quality of audio.
Yeah.
So a lot of these offer like a higher tier of audio listening.
Right.
I know Spotify has Atmos mixed songs on there now.
Yes.
But the thing is that Spotify's, I guess it's called a DAC, a digital to analog converter. Mm-hmm. It's not the best.
That's what I read. Yes.
Right? So it's not. It doesn't play it at the correct kilohertz or megahertz or whatever the thing might be. I think it stops at 192, and I think when you're offered either lossless or FLAC, FLAC,
Yeah.
it's higher. I don't know if it's 241 or 441.
Oh, it's much higher than 192 for
It's
sure.
like 441, right?
Like your top one is like 320.
Yes,
And
yeah.
then
So
FLAC and that is supposed to be bigger than
bigger
320.
than that, yeah. So I know Apple, you have to switch it every single time you get to something that's higher quality.
Okay.
The one that is the best that I came across was the Cobas.
Okay.
That one, when it's offered in high quality, it'll play in high quality.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's an integrated player in the way it, it's given to the user, and it will give you the highest quality available.
Nice.
And there is a kind of a way of telling what is a higher quality audio. Like it's got some sort of stamp on the let's say the artist profile.
Oh, okay.
That tells you all of the music here is master quality or whatever,
Oh,
whatever
right
it is
on.
that they designate.
Good.
right?
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so like I was
more
actually
of it
very
for audiophile kind of people.
yeah, because there were a couple of channels that I visited on YouTube. Interesting enough, YouTube has one of the least, the least good quality audio, and I imagine it's because a lot of it gets compressed, on YouTube,
Sure.
and it has to be made available very quickly to a lot of people at
No
once.
doubt. No doubt.
So, but a couple of these channels did praise Cobas as the one they always use to kind of review music.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you want to do let me listen to all of the layers in this song,
Sure.
you go to Cobas.
Okay.
And then you get the highest quality audio there.
Okay.
And then if you want to listen to it again, you go to any of the others.
Okay.
Right? I know Bandcamp also offers.
Yeah, they offer all
high
of it, right?
quality
Yeah.
audio. I think they even offer FLAC. FLAC.
Yes, they do. If for your downloads, you can.
Yeah.
I'm a variable bit rate guy. That's what I do a lot of mine in. I find that number one, the FLAC is it's just too fucking it's too
Huge.
big.
And then you need a FLAC player.
Yeah, exactly.
so-
Which I know you can kind of find these things. They're not
Sure,
You don't
yeah.
have to. But I just think, and 320. It's like how much room is it taking? Also as part of it. And
Right,
I like the
right.
variable bit rate. I got turned on to that. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago in chat rooms or whatever. And
Yeah.
I really like that. I feel like. Because one of the things that what do you call it? Spotify will give you in the settings. I actually was looking at that. I was like, oh yeah, let me go look in the settings, see what I have my shit set to. Because I know
Yeah.
I did it at one
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And I have it so it streams very high. Always find the highest quality. Do the whole thing.
Yep.
But one of the things I remember the option they give you is where it's like, oh, do you want us to make everything the same volume?
Oh,
So
yes.
no matter what you're listening to, it's always going to be the same volume as
Same
what you heard
volume.
before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Why would I? No. I want. If now, granted, it does suck because there are things obviously more modern that sound like it's right in my ear, and
Yes.
then the next one you go like, oh, I gotta turn that up a little bit because that was made it in the '80s. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
But to me, it's like, no, I want the actual sound. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But again, I do understand. Not everybody is. Plus, it's the part where I'm like, again, how I use it. I'm streaming it. I don't assume I'm hearing it in the best quality. Not to say I shouldn't get that or shouldn't pay. If I wanted it, I could pay for it. Absolutely. I think it's great that that's an option. I did see something that said I think Spotify is trying to do better with that. But yes, that other places were beating it
Yeah.
by a country mile.
Yeah, and I haven't tried Ampwall the way I should have tried any of these other ones. But I believe they also offer a higher bit rate or a higher file type.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to work like Bandcamp. So I'm assuming that they also offer higher file higher file quality
Okay.
for upload and download on their platform.
Well, let me ask you that because you obviously you would know. you have been in bands.
Yeah.
You have been using Bandcamp pretty much from the
whole
beginning.
time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, from right when it started. Which, again, I don't know why any band wouldn't. Quite frankly, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
care how big or small you are necessarily. Why design your own website and spend all the money to do that when you
Yeah.
can put it on Bandcamp and let them do all that? Now, I guess it's because they take the chunk. I get it, but you can also name your price.
Yep.
Factor that in. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
believe me. Plenty of rappers, $30, $20 downloads. Like, are you kidding me? I'll pay $20 for a CD. I'll definitely pay for a record, but a download? Come on, man, help me out here. But have you looked into trying the amp wall?
I have. I think what gets me the most is, I'm gonna be honest.
Please.
When Bandcamp lets you upload your initial music for free, you can make an account for your band for free.
Okay.
And on Ampwall, it's $10 a year.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm in several bands, like many
Sure.
people are, so I would be paying $50 a year to be on Ampwall.
I hear you.
It's not a bad investment, But like I said, the community is a lot smaller.
Right.
I don't know that I would see a return on this.
I hear you.
And not that I want to look at everything as,
No,
as
but come on.
economically,
No, but we can't pretend money isn't part of this.
Right,
If,
right.
if it wasn't, then all these things would be free.
Exactly,
So,
right. So
as
yeah.
much as they're trying to make it for the artist, they still need money to operate. So.
Yeah, so even if I sign up for like Bandcamp Pro,
Okay.
which is, I think it was like $10 a month.
Okay. I didn't even know they had tiers. Wow.
Yeah, and this
Now,
is
this is as an artist.
As an
putting
artist,
okay.
yeah.
Like
So you-
I can't become a pro as a listener.
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think for the listeners, because you're just buying
I
stuff,
gotcha.
right?
No
so I
problem.
don't know that they offer any like extra features for that. But they offer you the Pro account, which you pay 10, 15, somewhere in between there.
okay.
And it's a couple of extra features. It didn't really make or break anything for us.
Okay.
So, I did not see a return on that either.
Okay.
Because what we normally would make, we're able to make the $10 back a month
Okay.
easily
Okay.
with just a couple of shows that we announced.
Sure.
Right. But I prefer to use the free version because it gives me just the features that I need to be able to run it normally and not have it break on me.
I gotcha.
Not confuse people. It doesn't confuse me,
Yeah.
especially because I'm on there as a blind person.
Sure,
So
sure.
the fact that that I will need help, and you've helped me before,
Yeah.
to put stuff up on there initially, but then the maintaining the profiles, it's super easy, right?
Okay.
So I would love to use Ampwall just because I think it's cool that another musician
Absolutely. Yes.
made
yeah.
this, and they know the struggles, the ins and outs
Absolutely.
of being in a band,
Right.
and it, I think it helps too that I'm a fan of Woe. So
Sure. But that whole the idea of much more communal, more
communal,
DIY,
yeah,
in that way.
So that is attractive, and I would like to look into that a bit more. And I think at one point I am gonna just kind of migrate all my stuff on there at one point.
Right on.
Because I see it the same as using one of the distribution sites,
Okay.
like DistroKid or something
Right.
like this. Where we're paying to upload it to DistroKid.
Right.
DistroKid kind of just puts it everywhere it can.
Right.
Right. And that includes YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, and stuff like that.
Right.
So I mean, that's that's just another investment, which we're gonna tend to make anyway. For
Absolutely.
the band,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I would like to kind of use Ampwall and be a little bit more knowledgeable on it. Use it as a person in a band who pays and sees what the features are, so I can make a better comparison between that and Bandcamp. Because I know those two already will be better than the other platforms.
Sure.
Just because you're dealing with the musicians one-on-one.
Absolutely.
kind of, right?
Yeah. I
Unless
mean,
it's a label running it. But
and I know that certainly Bandcamp. I know they've been bought and sold a few times. And
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
they're nothing's 100%.
Right,
I
right.
do just wonder, like, is it simply just new guy on the block? Is that a big reason why you think maybe Amp Wall just hasn't been?
I think so, yeah. And also,
Okay.
it doesn't have. I mean, yeah, it
doesn't have the money behind it,
It doesn't
I
have the
imagine.
money. It
Yeah.
doesn't have the history, the
Okay.
time behind it under its belt, right? Which Bandcamp, when it popped up, and everyone went to it.
yeah. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
big bands went
Yeah.
to it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah.
so you could get Cherry Poppin' Daddies off of fucking Bandcamp,
And
right?
who didn't?
So like the
I can't start a Zoot Suit Riot alone.
Yeah, so if more bands were aware of Ampwall, I'm pretty sure that thing would balloon up in no time. And
Because
I'm-
it was such a revolutionary thing, that Bandcamp. Like I can remember, like
Yeah.
it almost I know it's not totally gone away, but it almost killed like the blog spot kind of thing.
Yes,
like there was no
exactly.
reason to, because
Yeah.
if you were truly using it for what it was used for, well, you can give it a taste of it.
Right,
And if
right,
you don't like
yeah.
it, you can move on. But if you want to buy it, there you go, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these I think are both good alternatives if you want to stay away from the biggies, Spotify,
For sure.
Amazon, Apple, and stuff like that. Because in the end, you are kind of choosing which poison to drink.
I mean, again, I'm
Right.
sure there are Bandcamp people, and God knows what they're using their money to do with. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Now, as we've always talked about in this way, not to try and not take it in another direction, just
No.
simply say, as always, where we talked about separating the art from the artist. One of the beauties is I may not know where Bandcamp is putting their money right now, but if I ever find out and it turns out to be what Spotify is, or maybe some of the other ones, that's my choice now. And now I get to make that more educated choice
Right.
on where I'm putting my money. And I think the idea that in a way, that's ridiculous that there's this many streaming platforms, but in some ways,
Yes.
it's also beauty because the choices, and you
choices,
can
yeah.
know where your money's going, or hopefully you put it where you want to put it. And certainly with Bandcamp, that's the thing I always love, is knowing that when I slap down the $10 for the download or the $25 for the record or whatever,
Yeah.
that I know that's whether it's going to the label or it's going to the band, that's where it's going for the most part. Bandcamp's going to take their slice.
Sure.
Everybody gets their 10%. But at the same time, it's just like you feel like. In a way, it feels like no different than going to the show and buying it straight off their merch table.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And really feeling like you can support. And I think that's what's kind of interesting, seeing Spotify now put these kind of links to, oh, are you digging this? Well, you can buy it over here. You know what I mean?
I did notice that. I mean, and probably because of this,
Mm-hmm.
Spotify won't link you to Bandcamp.
Oh,
And I don't,
not a surprise at
because
all.
I did see
Yeah.
it links to Facebook,
Yes.
to Instagram, but
Oh,
not
yeah.
to Bandcamp,
That-
and I don't think it links to YouTube either.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, they're like Bandcamp who? No,
Yeah, right.
I'm not unsurprising whatsoever.
Right. So again, these are platforms that do make it very easy to find music, and like I said, you get to choose where your money goes, obviously. But if you do want to support artists directly, there are at least two options on this entire
sure.
list: Bandcamp and Ampwall.
That work well. I mean, I've not used that, but Bandcamp's great. Once you get used to it and how
Yeah.
it's fantastic to use and discover bands on.
Yeah, and just having the collection amassed for you there in like the one place,
For sure.
it's awesome.
It really is.
It really is awesome, and hopefully they can streamline the playlist feature. Again, I haven't looked into that part as much. One of the negatives that I can say about Bandcamp is that they were anti-union, which a big part of their workforce, I think, got let go because of this.
Yes, I remember. Yes. Okay.
Right. So I know some of their workers did leave because of these things, and I know a lot of folks think, well, it's my music. What do I care about the goings on in the background?
Sure.
But again, you want to make a smart decision with your money. You want to make sure you're doing something that's benefiting people instead of hurting
sure.
them.
For sure.
Which is again why I understand people leaving Spotify,
No doubt.
not wanting to be on Apple, because Apple is another of the
Another one,
biggies. So Apple has its own issues as well. But yes, to jump back to
Please,
Spotify.
yes.
Spotify muddies its waters even more by by doing the video
Yeah.
and by adding books, which I actually love. I love the fact that they have a book library on there now.
Yeah, I'm not. And again, I'm not a reader or a book guy, but I've been noticing that they have been advertising the shit out of that lately. I've been getting a lot of mainly for me, it's like music stuff. So it's always like, here, 33 1/3,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just always kind of like, oh, interesting. This is somewhat new.
Yeah, I've listened to the books with the account that I have. They actually give you a set number of hours.
Oh.
And then they block you until the next month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which for me kind of weird.
Yeah.
I do listen again because I'm blind. I listen to books on audio all the time.
Yeah. You're a big audio guy for sure. With that.
So I do sign up for like Audible and Kindle.
Have you used Amazon for that?
Well, Kindle is
Is
Amazon.
Gotcha. That's
and
right.
then Audible is actually owned by Amazon.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like, why do they have? It's kind of like PayPal.
Yeah.
You don't want to use PayPal, so you use Venmo, but Venmo is owned by PayPal.
Oh, interesting. Did not know that either.
Yeah. So
Well, we're all owned by three people at this point.
Well, the funny thing is that Tidal is owned by Jack Dorsey.
Oh,
So
that's the ex-Twitter guy, right?
ex-Twitter guy. Yeah.
And
And
yes,
also
it's called fucking
ex-PayPal
Twitter.
guy.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that. No, you mentioned that with the book thing. Yeah, because I always, I get emails all the time from Amazon. Hey, man, you got free books that you
Yes,
want to
yeah.
And I'm always like, look, Amazon, I know I probably should, but is there any way I can like will these to friends who I know will use them? Is there some way I can share these points?
I don't know if that's allowed.
If it is, believe me, I'd be happy to share. One that we haven't talked about yet, and I think that's what's also interesting is like some of these, you want all of these to be kind of a one-stop shop, right?
Yes, yeah.
And like one of the ones that my daughter was super bummed about when it came to Tidal, podcasts. Tidal doesn't do podcasts apparently.
Yeah.
Where that's one of the things with Spotify. Like I used to be, all my podcasts were on Apple.
Right.
And now I am listening to my iPod way less. I don't even remember last time I unplugged it, to be completely honest with you.
Wow. All right.
And rarely listening to a podcast on from iTunes because they all are on Spotify. And it is nice to have a one-stop in my pocket shop where, especially with my job, a lot of times I can either put it on my speaker or I can put it on headphones while I'm working. So it's nice to just go like, when it comes to a podcast especially, I like listening to it while I'm doing something else. I'm not one to just sit down, which is why I'm not real big on the video part of a lot of these podcasts. To me, again, and as people obviously can figure out, we don't do a video podcast. We do an audio podcast.
Yeah.
To me, that's what podcasts always were. I always liked the audio aspect of it. It was never about, I don't need to see the people. I don't give a crap what you're doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that was something my daughter said she was definitely bummed about when it came to switching over to Tidal. She loves everything else about it, but yeah, losing the podcast was kind of a bummer. She found an alternative, obviously, because God knows probably as many streaming services as there are, there's probably ones that are completely dedicated to podcasts.
Yeah,
that
there's
you can do.
a couple. One that I haven't actually mentioned, Deezer.
Yes.
Does both music and podcasts.
Okay.
So there are some that incorporate maybe the basic versions of music libraries and podcast libraries. And from what I hear, or from what I've read, Deezer is pretty compatible as far as being good quality on the audio.
Okay.
Good selection on the podcast.
Okay.
And I mean, I know I've found plenty of podcasts on there that I still listen to.
Okay.
But that's a good one because I don't like the podcast options on Spotify.
Okay, interesting.
I like it more on Apple and on YouTube.
Okay.
And there's a reason.
Please.
Spotify, if I listen to 2 minutes of a podcast and then decide that I don't want to listen to it anymore, it still gets put in my
recommendations.
Yeah. And I don't like that, and I can't get rid of it. Like I've listened to everyone's favorite Joe Rogan maybe a couple times in the past to make fun of him, and for some reason he fucking keeps popping back up in my recommendations, and I don't listen to him at all.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, I think mainly because I for the most part I do not hop around with podcasts. I kind of have my 8, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the number one being the rehearsal room.
Rehearsal room. Check it out.
But I don't experience that very very much. But that's interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, because there. And then there's one, now that you say that, you're absolutely right. Because the Bill Simmons podcast, I'm technically not following it on Spotify. I just realized that. I just started listening to it, and now every Monday
It pops up. Yeah.
Which is fine right now because it's football season, and I'm going to listen to it anyway. But it does suck that it comes up, and I'm like the OCD in me goes, I must mark that it's finished so it leaves me alone.
Yes.
When in reality, I could just leave the fucking thing alone, dude, and move on.
There is actually... Here's a weird thing. On
Please.
Spotify, there is an option to not play artists anymore.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of music that I don't want to...
Yeah, they used to have where you could click on the little circle that had a line through it and said, I'm not interested in this artist.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's there for music.
Okay.
They don't have that for podcasts.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I would love to not have to fucking be recommended Joe Rogan.
Oh, well, yeah. That's...
YouTube, where I also listen to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You can select the don't play this channel anymore.
Okay.
Right? Or I'm not interested in this.
Right.
Those are the two options you get on YouTube.
Okay.
I use that all the time.
Right on.
All the time.
Right on.
Apple Podcasts, I actually don't know if it has anything similar. Actually, it does. I think it does. It has a don't play this.
Well, I know
channel.
you can add it to your, essentially the ones that it will download for you,
Yes,
and then when you erase it, it just
it'll get rid of it.
It'll get rid of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You'll never see it again. Believe me, unfortunately done that to ones I really do want. I thought I was erasing the episode, and I erased the whole thing. And then you got to go back and download it again, and then it goes, oh, well, you have a setting that says all the ones
All
you've
the
never
episode-
heard.
yeah.
Like, oh, fuck
Yep.
me. And it's just
Yep.
like, here's an incoming of 300 podcasts.
Yeah.
And then again, the OCD kicks in, and I'm like, I must erase all of these. It shows that I've, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
now,
so-
see, the thing with the podcast, again, I'm just more of the audio. To me, like, there's a guy I do listen to. Unfortunately, he has moved on from the podcast he was originally doing. He's doing another one, which I'm happy for his success, but it's strictly a video one. He does not have it as a podcast that you can just listen to. And I have not been checking it out on YouTube, because the other part is I don't pay for YouTube. So now I got to sit through stupid fucking commercials. And now I got to, and more importantly, you can't turn YouTube off I use, what do you call it? Samsung. So you can't turn YouTube off. It has to be on while you're listening to it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So
okay,
now,
so you can't put the phone on like sleep and then have it play.
Exactly. And I, again, because I'm just old and stupid, I do not have headphones that are Bluetooth.
Oh, okay.
So I got to plug the thing in. It's in my pocket. Now I'm trying to listen. And of course, if I shift in any way and it bumps that, suddenly it's like, well, what am I listening to now? What is that?
Yeah.
Or I'm in the middle of work and go, oh, fuck, a commercial. Let me pull the thing out. 10, 9, 8, 7. Having to wait. Okay, now I can skip it. And it's just like, man, this is just not worth it, man.
Unfortunately, have to suffer every time an ad comes on YouTube. My phone will, because it reads the text. It'll tell me you have this many seconds for this ad to end. Right. So sometimes it's 15, 6 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it will say 30 minutes.
Yeah. Or one of two ads.
One of two ads, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm washing dishes, listening to shit. And I have soapy hands, and I can't click the screen, and instead I click on the ad.
Yes.
So it opens up the ad itself, and it takes me to a website.
These are all first world problems. We understand.
We understand.
but
We
believe
understand
me,
exactly
grand
how we're
scheme of
saying.
things.
Yes,
I know,
yes.
but it is a pain because, especially, and I hope people find it even with our podcast, is that you get into it. I'm into the groove. We're
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
I'm in the conversation. Here we go, and then I got to hear about Flaflanzen because it cures my hipsteria or whatever fucking thing. And it's just like, I don't care, man. Can we move on? Yeah. And I just think but I imagine, yes, if you pay for it, obviously you leave the commercials. I imagine it's much better in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I think everything said, there is a number of platforms. There are a number of platforms available for people to listen to music. As with everything else, you can decide where your money goes. You're not really beholden to any of them, actually.
No.
And the beautiful thing is that if you really want to support an artist, you just go to the show and buy the music.
Well, that's number one, right?
That's
Always.
the best one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously the label, and then the Bandcamp, and and again, that's what I use Spotify for. Ultimately, everything goes on lists where it's like, I may not buy it immediately, but I have a list where it's like I'm gonna buy this at some point, because if I like it that much, I want it to be part of the collection.
Yeah.
I've actually instituted in the last couple of weeks where I'm like, I'm going to try not to listen to stuff on Spotify I already own.
Interesting.
So that I have that to listen to in the car, at home, everything else, and try to keep it to just stuff I have not heard so I can try it out and see what it sounds like. And if I like it, add it to the collection. It's not always working out that way, but, for the most part. And I will say, number one across the board, as far as I'm concerned, and I've talked to enough people, the number one bad thing about streaming anything, any of these platforms is my soul for a good fucking shuffle. I swear to God, of all the technology that we have, look, I hate AI with a passion, but if we can get AI on a good shuffle,
yeah.
I honestly believe Utopia would be next. I truly do. I don't understand how these shuffles can be this fucked up at this. I have playlists. I have a hip hop one. I think the thing's got I honestly, it's got 36 hours or something of music. Okay. How am I hearing the same artist twice in a row?
Yeah.
How is this even possible? possible? If I threw a dart, I could do better. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and it never seems to matter what stuff I've ever used. With all the talk of algorithms and everything else, right?
That's just it, right? Like they're so focused on the algorithm kind of dictating where you're going to go to next. But it doesn't really work when, like you said, the Spotify shuffle is
Especially in a playlist I put together.
There you go.
I get it
Yeah.
if Spotify made the play. I made the playlist.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got 36 hours of music. Come on. And I heard the same artist twice? How is it possible?
Even on the detail of going to like the song radio or
Sure,
whatever
sure.
to find more music
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds like every fourth song or every fifth song will be a song from that original artist. So it's
So
like, I
like
already,
to remind you where you started?
exactly, yeah. Like, oh, I already heard this.
Right.
Oh no, but here it is again.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what are you guys doing? Like,
It's interesting, right? Because like shuffle has always been like I remember a guy, I got a six CD changer, But I remember a guy had one where you could program it so it would play the first song off of each CD, then the second song off of each, which was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then at some point you also like, well, then that's just I already know what's going to come up next,
Right.
The idea of a shuffle for me ultimately is what I like about it is it turns it into a radio.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I have one a station that we both grew up on here in LA called K Earth.
Yeah.
Essentially played like oldies stuff from the late 50s to the late 60s. So I made my own because I don't hear that music anymore. So I made my own little K Earth playlist, and you just go what I want it to be. For me is like when I was a kid and my mom would turn on the radio and those would be the songs. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you just go like, how can I hear the same song twice? Come
Yeah,
on,
that's- So, if anybody from these platforms should be listening, make a great shuffle option.
Right.
Stop bombing countries with the money you
Yes,
make.
use
from
that
your
for
users.
shuffle. Yes.
Use it for shuffle and maybe pay out some of the artists.
Yeah.
Some of the lesser known artists, and maybe some of the lesser known podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rehearsal room.
There you go. Do more promotion for them. Help them out a little bit.
Yeah, right. So it'd be interesting to see what users out there, what listeners decide to use as their platform of choice.
I've looked at ours, by the way. When it comes to this podcast, and
Yeah.
thank you to all the people who listen. We get quite a variety. You can look on our little Spotify for creators and kind of see little numbers and stuff like that
Yeah.
from time to time. I thought that was pretty interesting because you go like, well, since our main thing is Spotify, I figure the majority would come from Spotify, and overall it does.
Sure.
But yeah, we're quite a it gives a circle with different colors that represent each streaming service that we use. We do we got a rainbow flag going on ours, and which is pretty kind of cool. Just that somebody is finding it on all these different
On
kind
different
of
ones.
things is
Yeah,
kind of
that's-
interesting.
That
to
is
me.
cool to know. That is
Yeah.
very cool to know.
And thank you to those who listen. By the way,
Thank you very
no
much
matter
for
what you're
everyone
listening
who
to it
decides
on.
to listen.
Yeah.
So let us know what you decide to use. If you have one that we haven't touched on and
Yeah.
why you like it, why you don't like it, or why you
Please.
don't like Spotify. I mean, we'll totally understand.
Or if you think there's one better that we have not touched on, And
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
love. I mean, look. If I can put my money in a better place, if I can listen to it better, if I have more variety, let me know, please.
I think that's what it is too, is that like a lot of people might feel that Spotify is the end all be all platform, but it's not,
God, no. When I looked up like how many, wow, there's
Tons of
15 names I've never even heard of on this list.
Yeah, and we're still not.
No, we're not even
barely
scratching the surface.
Exactly. So whatever people can come across, where maybe the library is a little bit more eclectic, and I mean, I'll even go as far as saying maybe the payout to these artists is a lot better.
Sure.
Let us know, because we'd love to highlight it. We'd love to talk about it. We'd love to get to know it
For sure.
and support it. So all that said, what have you been watching?
A few new ones. Watched that Friendship finally.
Okay, yeah.
This is what is his name? God
Paul
dang.
Rudd.
Paul Rudd, but the other guy,
Tim Robinson?
Tim Robbins.
Wait, Robinson.
Robinson. Yes.
Okay.
One of my favorite things that I read about it was like this is like the horror version of I Love You Man.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I like
Not horror in like blood guts, just like this is like the depraved version of I Love
okay.
You Man.
Cool.
You know?
All right.
And I think it is a pretty damn accurate description. The number one thing that blew my mind about the movie was to find out Tim Robinson, I imagine, he's an actor. He's got some input. He did not write this. This is not his project in any way, shape, or form. Just some kid who, he's got 4 or 5 writing credits or whatever. This is his first writing, directing debut.
Oh,
as
wow.
far as, yeah, right.
Not Tim Robinson's.
No,
The other
this guy who wrote and directed it.
Okay, all right.
So you go like, did he write it in his voice, or did he write something that he knew Tim Robinson could do, or did he just let him go loose on it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Number one, because again, it's so beautiful, just the way this kind of came together, because you are now watching his show, right? So you definitely understand his humor and the
Yes,
things.
yeah.
It is all over this movie.
Okay.
Okay. So there are definite times where I'm laughing. We watched it as a family, both of my kids and well, the ones that live at home, both my kids, my wife. Like, this is a great sign of how good the movie was. My wife kind of came home late from work, so she took a shower, and we're like, okay, we're all going to sit down and watch this. She went to lay down on the couch, took her glasses off, which is never a good sign because that means she's about to fall asleep. She, within 5 minutes, sat right back up, put the glasses on, and is now watching the movie, okay? Because we are all sitting there. You're laughing. You're uncomfortable.
Nice.
You're uncomfortably laughing. And then there's many a times one of us will go, what the fuck are we watching? What is this movie?
Nice.
What's
Yeah.
going
I like
on?
that there are more movies like that
Yeah.
make you kind of cringe and
Oh.
laugh, and you're just like, ugh, I don't know what to
And
do
again,
at this point.
not like I don't understand. It's just like, who writes this? Who?
Yeah.
Like, how do you, like, I get the movies. I mean, the plot is fairly linear. It's, the guy is kind of this dorky dude who Paul Rudd moves into town, and he gets to know him, and he kind of almost like a single white female kind of thing, where it's like, you're my best friend till the end. And it's like, well, you're a little weird, and maybe I don't want to be your friend. Well, no, we have to be friends. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of that going on, but just like, it's just, I can't recommend it enough. I thought it was fantastic. It was everything I hoped it would be. And plus, I love Paul Rudd. You put him in anything, I'm in. I think Paul Rudd is fantastic.
That one is definitely next for Amy and myself.
You guys are gonna love it, especially you're coming off of his show.
I'm coming off of I Think You Should Leave Now,
Yes.
which is still fucking hilarious.
It's so good. One that I don't think I mentioned a while back, but I saw it a while back, but I wanted to mention it, is Freaky Tales. This is a movie that takes place in Oakland.
Oh,
essentially.
yes. Yeah,
It's like 3 stories going on all at once, kind of that Pulp Fiction-y, these all tie together in some way. Absolutely Oakland-centric. For those who may not know, Freaky Tales is the Too Short song. That's what he's taking it from. Too Short actually makes an appearance as a cop in it, And there are Oakland natives sprinkled throughout the entire movie, just doing cameos, sometimes bigger parts.
I think they go to Berkeley as well, right? They play at Gilman Street.
They do. Well, I think they do actually say it, but they are definitely referencing it for sure. They want you to know this little punk collective where we all hang out, all us misfits, where this fucking scumbag Nazi fucks show up, and it's like we gotta keep them away from our little Gilman Street. I'm pretty sure they do say it, but that is clearly what it's supposed to be. And it just very cool, very fun, but also like the last part especially is this like almost like a Kill Bill kind of feel to it. It was just a real fun movie. It's still on HBO right now. I would highly recommend it. Obviously, the biggest star in it is Mr. Mandalorian himself is in it. What is his name?
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's great in it. He plays a really cool part in it. He's probably the biggest person in it, And I just remember seeing the commercials for it, thinking, check that out. When it came on HBO, was not disappointed.
He's getting a little bit of a turnaround on how popular he is at the moment.
I saw some of this, which is like,
what are people doing?
I don't. Interesting enough, Pete Davidson I saw was kind of coming, which I was also interested because he just got yelled at by Mark Maron, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
it never
Maron's gonna yell at everybody.
Well, I think Maron has a bit of a point, but I love Bill Burr, but wow, I did not know you did that. But okay, anyway, it's just to say, I was like, what? Like, so we built him up too much and now we have to tear him down. Like, fuck you.
yeah.
Pedro Pascal's a fantastic actor.
great. He's a
I love him in
national
so
treasure.
many things he does.
Yeah.
And look, I love how outspoken he is about his beliefs and so forth. I'm glad we need more of that. Be that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really weird, which is also one of these things where I mean, I'm old. I'm not into this stuff. So I see this stuff tangentially where I can just go, he is? Who hates? I don't know anybody who hates Peter. You know what I mean? You never know with these things. Like, there's just a small group on the internet, but it becomes bigger.
I mean,
because,
yeah, I don't want to say that I'm like all over the place on the
Shit,
internet,
see,
but
no, no.
I have come across like negative comments about Pedro Pascal, and I'm like, what? Like,
yeah.
just a week ago we were praising him.
Dude,
You know?
you can fuck off. I don't care. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think his range is great. I think what he can play, what he does is fantastic. And he's in Star Wars Mandalorian. He's forever my king. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's done some awesome shit, man.
Yeah.
You know, he can play a badass like an Equalizer 2 or that one with the Netflix one where the old soldiers go and rob the drug dealer. He's great in that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, I don't know. I think he's a great actor, and I love he's a name, unlike Mr. Franco, where he's another one where I see like, oh, Pedro Pascal, I'm in. Tell me more.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I saw that too. It's a real shame. Fuck those people.
I know.
That's your loss. I don't know what to tell you. Pedro, continued success. And
Continue.
you are welcome on the Rehearsal Room podcast.
Any day.
Anytime. I would
Any day.
love, I've got a million questions about The Mandalorian. A couple of interesting little, they're on Hulu, essentially documentaries. One was a documentary in itself. I think maybe ABC did it, but I found on Hulu about the Lilith Fair. That was kind of interesting.
yeah.
Was it just, again, not necessarily music that I'm into per se, but just kind of nostalgia. You know, oh, wow, yeah, where have all the cowboys gone? Haven't heard that in forever. You know what I mean?
Good
And,
song.
you know, it was very interesting just how it came about. And it really was kind of this, we look at it now, 2020 vision it is so much better because you can kind of take it all in at the same time. It really was interesting to see how many people just shat on that thing for reasons that you just go, wow,
Yeah, I
what
mean,
the fuck?
I remember when it came around, and just because it was all lady bands, for the most part on there.
No, absolutely, completely. They made sure of that because there was. Well, I say that only because there was a moment where I think it's the second year. That's what they started getting shit about. Oh, shouldn't you have a guy on here?
That's what I'm saying. Like when they started complaining about that, like really, like
because there's when are these guy rock bands gonna finally catch a break?
exactly right. So it's
Which I loved because she said Sarah McLachlan straight up said it in the thing. Like there was a moment where she said, maybe I should. She even says it at the press conference that they were holding. And I guess, what is her name? Dang it, I can't remember. I wish I could. Amazing artist who's been around for a very long. Emmylou Harris. I guess when the press conference was done, she snatched her right up. Was like, sweetheart, no, absolutely not. Do not compromise yourself or this.
Yeah.
Don't do it. But it was just interesting. Again, taking back to that time, one of the biggest things, especially, I thought was interesting. Something that was talked about, obviously, tangentially at the time because we just didn't talk about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I imagine those who went knew all about it. But now we can speak about it more openly. Is the fact of how safe that was, a safe space for people of color, also people who are gay, and that sort of thing. Where one of the producers of it, and he had a small interview, is the guy from Schitt's Creek, his son, the SCTV guy, and I'm such a Eugene Levy's kid.
Oh yeah.
It's on Schitt's Creek with him.
Yeah.
He's he happens to be gay. He's talking about that's the first show I ever went to where I felt safe. I could be me. Obviously, this music also has a big lesbian contingency that went to these things. Sure. And again, many of them, like, I felt safe. I felt like I could, talking about things like how weird it is. Again, we're of our time, but how weird it was to have the Indigo Girls. And then it was like, do I sing with the Indigo Girls? If I did that mean I'm a lesbian? Do people think I'm a lesbian because I'm singing with the, meanwhile, the Indigo Girls are like, kiss my ass, I'm a lesbian, fuck off. We're playing our songs, people love us. I don't give a shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, to be that brave at that time. So all that was just to say, very interesting documentary. And I think that it was, you just see how, and then they talked about maybe we should bring it back. I don't know. They tried it one time, I think 2005, different musical climate, didn't go as well, but things like putting up stuff where you could petition people of like Planned Parenthood, rape survivors, abuse survivors. These little tents where they could help women and help people like that. That's
one
fantastic.
of the things. I remember when Lilith Fair was a thing at that time. When I was growing up, most of my friends were women or people who presented as women.
Gotcha.
A lot of people in the LGBT crowd, because of the punk scene that I was mostly in. But a bunch of them went to Lilith Fair, and they said exactly this, that there were tents where, if you needed assistance with Planned Parenthood or again, if you needed somebody to speak to because you were abused in any way, there were people there. And it was surprising because these are things that you'd expect your own musical community, your own kind of little hidden away group of people to be able to afford you. And you have, not that you have to.
No, but I know what you mean.
But you find it at this fair with thousands of other strangers who are, also experiencing the same thing. Yeah. So that community is built up even more.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully it inspired others to do the same. I think it did. Yeah. I know they were, I think it was every $2 on the ticket was given to charity.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they gave over like $10 million.
That's awesome.
Look, I don't give a shit if you like the music or not. And a lot of those artists aren't really my thing. But what they did, man, fuck you.
But
That's
let's be
amazing.
honest, how many dumb festivals come around where it's a lot more guy-centric, where none of the bands are, and it's just knuckleheaded music for knuckleheaded music's
To your point,
sake.
ironically, one of the years was the same year as Woodstock, 99.
Oh, yeah.
And Sheryl Crow played both of them. There she is at the Lilith Fair, and it's surrounded by love, and they're singing. They show her at that. Show us your tits.
Yeah, and it's fucking hell on earth.
Oh yeah, I mean, and look, that's an episode unto itself. Really, there's a tinderbox already ready to go. I know everybody wants to blame Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit. I'm not saying they didn't help exacerbate maybe some of it, but it's not their fault that these people necessarily did these things. Quite frankly, it's the promoter's fault. They were shitbags from day one. Sure. But it just showed you the energy way different, to say the least. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, it was just, considering both of those were happening at the same time, it was also, like I said, for something I thought it was really well done. Cool. It was very interesting to see those artists and, a little bit of taking the Wayback Machine a little bit. Like, oh, Sean Colvin, I haven't thought I heard him forever. The other one that's on HBO, that's on Hulu, more heavy metal centric, called Into the Void. I don't know if you've heard anything about this. Essentially, I would say it's like Dark Side of the Ring, but for metal.
Okay.
Yeah, you've seen those ones on HBO on Hulu, the Dark Side of the Rings, where they.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure before I use that as a reference, and you're like, yeah, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. So I figured I'd make sure.
No, yeah, I'm a long
you
time
and me
fan
both.
of Dark Side.
I love the Dark Side of the Ring. I watch those. That's an exciting like. Woo,
one day we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to have a wrestling episode.
Oh,
I
sure.
mean, I fucking.
I'm not into it as deep as you, and I was only for a small period of time when I was a kid. But yeah, absolutely, no, it's fond memories, and that brings it up, and I love that. So it's along those same lines. It was very interesting. First episode, obviously, pretty easy to do to start that way. It was about Randy Rhoads.
Okay.
They had some interesting ones about the Judas Priest trial. That was interesting in and of itself. It's been so long since I remember that, and kind of to revisit that.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I mean, again. Never been a fan of their band, but man, oh man, it's just the more and more I learn about those guys, the more and more I fucking respect the shit out of them for all that they've been able to accomplish. I love those guys. I mean, to stand up and go, fuck you. This is about free speech. We didn't do this. We had nothing to do with those kids killing themselves. Yeah. Do not try to pin that on us, and we're going to fight you tooth and nail. Good for you guys, man. I just, man. They had an episode on that, had an episode about, ultimately it's about the murder of Dimebag Darrell, but Pantera. Episode about Wendy Williams. That one was really cool. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, so I got to learn a lot from that on Wendy. I was saddened because I had forgot. I thought she had died of cancer. I did not realize she sadly took her own life.
Yeah,
that was a real bummer to hear. Trying to think some of the other episodes that were one about I had never heard of this, but still interesting story. They I guess are said even the guys are kind of like. I guess we were the first black metal band of Seattle called Enemy, so NME, the letters.
Huh.
Yeah, I'd not heard them. Very Mayhemish, early Mayhemish.
Okay.
When you hear it, that punky Razor kind of guitar sound.
Yeah.
Guy screaming. They put out a demo that got picked up by a German label. Things were good. Things seemed like they were going to good. They were about to tour Europe, and then their lead singer, guitar player, I think. Yeah, not singer, guitar player, murdered his mother.
Oh, what the hell?
He essentially had a schizophrenic episode.
Wow.
Undiagnosed, didn't know that it was a thing. Served, I think, 6 years, got out, got married, had a kid, actually got the band back together.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and things were good for a good long time. And his wife very much loved him. As you can see, I'm saying loved. Because you're watching this and you're going like, whoa, where are we going? Because you're showing me pictures. He ended up taking his own life, drove off a bridge.
Oh, shit.
The theory being they believe his wife's sister said her parents obviously took him aside and were like, look, I see that your daughter and you are falling in love and we want her to be happy, but we also know what you did. And is there any way you can sit here and tell us that it will never happen to her? Which I guess, according to her, he said that he told the parents, I cannot tell you that it won't. What I can tell you is if the feeling ever comes back, I will kill myself before I do any harm to anyone else.
Damn.
And they believe that's what he did.
Wow.
So yeah, it was that one was just like, because you get those sometimes, what, first of all, heavy metal is very vast. There's a lot of different stories in it.
Yeah,
but there's also these ones where you're kind of like, no, nobody knows this shit. What are we talking about here? That was just one of them where I don't think a lot of people know it, but was a very interesting story.
Well, it's interesting just to
Please,
kind of
please,
cut
no,
in. We're
no.
like, we come up again. It's our history of metal isn't necessarily linear, but
Yes.
when you find out that there are these types of incidents,
sure. For sure.
it's always interesting,
Oh, for
especially
sure.
in something as sacred to us as music.
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yes. I'm always interested in people, learning about interesting things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the other ones was about a band called Hellion. The woman who sings in it, it's not her real name, but it's Anne Boleyn. Essentially being a woman in the rock business and metal, and how come they didn't go further? They were good, blah 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 blah. And much like the Wendy O. Williams ones, like it's tough to be a woman in rock and roll as it is, but try doing it even back then. That was even tougher
yeah.
than anything. That one was, like I said, very interesting series. I recommend it for metal fans. I think
Right.
people would dig it.
Into the Void.
Into the Void. It's on Hulu right now. Like I said, 6 or 7 episodes. I think that's most of them. Again, they're not. They do one on death.
Cool.
Chuck Schindler. Yeah, I learned a few things on that because I saw that documentary that they did on him. But even
Yeah.
that taught me a few things. I was like, oh, I did not know that part about it. And just unearthed footage, kind of going back. It's kind of neat in that.
Yeah,
way.
yeah. That's cool.
Other than that, continue with the Peacemaker and Alien Earth. I think Alien Earth. We're going to finish it this Sunday.
Nice.
And then move on to your show that you guys are watching on HBO. The
Task.
Yes, very excited for that. Another one I'm sure by the time we meet again, I will be checking out is I think it's called Run Rabbit.
Black Rabbit.
Black Rabbit. Very excited for that. Jude Law
Yep,
and
yep.
yeah. So
Jason Bateman.
that's definitely on my list.
Yeah,
so
that was on our list too.
okay, good to know because hopefully we'll watch that. We can talk about that one a little bit more. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Other than that, how about yourself?
So, I went home after our last episode
Mm-hmm.
and caught my wife watching 28 Days Later,
Oh,
which, what a fucking great movie.
I love that movie.
Firstly, we're kind of revving up to watching 28 Years Later,
Okay,
which I've heard stuff
understand.
about.
No.
But I came in at just the right time when Homeboy's in the mansion at the end with the military and they've drugged up Hannah.
Yes,
And Selena's missing, and so it's such a good movie.
it's so good, man.
It's easily the best tension
Oh.
in a movie where you are thinking it's about the infected because they're not zombies again,
Dude.
right?
I love where you're going with this.
But
Go.
this is more the tension with the people who are not infected.
Yes.
Right.
How
And-
are we dealing with
how
this
are we
as a
dealing with
society?
this?
Yeah,
Yes.
great point. Yes.
Right. And I love that that when it was filmed, it's such a sparse. I don't want to say setting because it's not sparse at all in the setting.
I know
It's
what
just
you
like
mean.
the sparse dialogue,
Yes.
which just lets the tension build
Yeah.
more because you're always around these people. So does that mean you always have to be speaking
Yeah,
Do you have
dude.
moments of silence?
Well,
right?
what the first 15 minutes? I don't think there's a word spoken. After
Exactly.
they leave the lab, it's like he's just walking around London. It's like, well, who would he talk to?
Exactly. Right.
You know, and to your point with the Sparks, it also adds to the feeling of emptiness, the feeling
Yes.
of loneliness. Like,
Yes.
am I the last man on earth? Is that what has happened? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and you feel that as an audience when you're seeing him walking through the streets of London like that. Yeah,
It's such a great.
it
fucking
really
movie.
is. So well done.
That was awesome.
Awesome.
We are still underway with Task,
Okay.
which I think we're like 3 episodes in now.
Is it
And
continuing on a good?
Holy
Okay.
shit!
Good. God.
Holy-
Oh.
Now I will say this.
Okay.
You did mention last time
I did.
that somebody said it was as good as True Detective.
And again, bold statement.
bold statement, and I don't agree with that.
Okay.
But, big but,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot lie.
Tell us more, Sir Mix-a-Lot.
It is a great
Okay.
fucking series. Just the storylines that are just thrown at you.
I got you.
Holy shit! Because it is such a cobweb of like who's involved with who, the history of Mark Ruffalo's character,
Right.
and how he plays into
Okay.
what's happening on the kind of like the crime side
Okay.
of the storyline. It's great. It's
Good.
such a great. I don't want to give
Ah.
anything away.
No,
it's
please.
so fucking good. The
So
character
excited to hear that.
development is perfect. in
Good.
this. The way they just kind of let a little bit out almost every minute.
Right on.
And you're just like, yeah, give me more, you know?
Good.
So the
good.
fact that it's a
Because
weekly,
I'm so excited to see it.
it is really good. And
Good.
I'm probably hyping it up more than I should,
No.
but it's so
Listen,
good.
and listen. I mean, again, you and I, like a lot of people, I think, who certainly watched it. That first season of True Detective is like
It's
godlike.
unfuckwithable.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
good. You know. So yes, when he said that, I was like, those are bold words.
Yes,
But
yeah.
I don't. Whether he truly meant that or if it was to say, what I'm telling you is, you really should see this. It is really good.
That's what
Either way.
I'm choosing to take away.
I gotcha.
Because True Detective was kind of magical without it being actually magical,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it hooked you enough to keep you with like, oh, it's not about this weird esoteric shit. It's actually the relationship with these two guys,
Right.
And how this guy is surviving,
Right.
in this system,
Right.
So, it's actually on that front, it is like True Detective.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad. I love when I see something that looks exciting and it turns out it actually is. Because the last
Yeah,
thing I want to hear is actually.
And as we all know, HBO puts a lot of effort into
Yes,
their series.
they really do.
You know, so if Sopranos,
Yes. Some of the best
Oz.
ones have come off of HBO. I mean, other than I think Breaking Bad is probably the only one I can think of off the top of my head that's
I
in my
agree.
top 3 that is not an HBO. Because the other one is The Wire, and then you're talking Sopranos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I will also throw in Watchmen. as
Yes,
being one of
Watchmen's
the
fantastic.
best
Leftovers
series.
is, I think, an underrated one on HBO.
Yeah.
I love 6 Feet Under.
6 Feet. Oh yeah, 6 Feet Under.
Always
yeah.
having fantastic shows on there. Always.
6 Feet Under will make me eternally cry. Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear Task. Good to hear.
Yeah,
Good.
Task is great. Another one that we took in was the movie Weapons.
Oh, yes. Okay. Good.
What a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Firstly, the time frame that they give you, over 2 hours of fucking who knows what the hell is going on, is already perfect.
Yes.
Because at one point we stopped it, and we're like, how much is left? 40 fucking minutes
Yeah.
is left. And we're not even done.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
I like the fact that it jumps. And sorry, spoilers
No, too late.
abound. You know,
Sorry.
so
Yeah, no.
the movie's out.
Yeah.
You know, go watch it.
Skip ahead if you don't.
Yeah, skip right now. I love that it jumps around the way
Yes.
it does.
Yes.
And that it gives you a perspective of all the people and how they're actually linked into the
Yes.
same storyline.
Yes.
Even someone as inconspicuous, is that the word? As James, the drug addict guy.
Yes.
Right.
Seems inconsequential in a lot of ways.
Yes,
and yet-
yeah, right. And even the cop, Paul the cop.
Yes.
Like how he plays into it. The little kid, Alex's parents, and him as well. Oh, it's so good.
What I loved about that, to your point about how you get these different stories, do you notice how different everyone's story is?
Everyone's, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all their perspective. So how they choose to tell this, like you're as if you're hearing it from them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when you watch the other side of that story, you go, "Wait a minute, I didn't see that happen. How did that?" You're like, "Oh, that's cool." These kind of what do you call it? Unreliable narrators.
Yes,
a little bit.
and the whole movie is
Absolute-
almost like this.
Absolutely. So you're just like, well, wait a minute. What do I believe and what am I supposed to be watching?
To that point,
Please.
At one point, Amy, when the cop when he arrests James.
Yes.
She even said out loud, "Well, I don't know who to believe."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, you're fucking right." Because I'm not gonna believe this fucking cop, and I don't know that I believe the drug addict guy.
It's very tough.
Right? So
Yes.
like, all right, well, yeah. Weapons is such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, it is kind of a whodunit, and it's got a little bit of the whole esoteric kind of side in there because of the aunt Gladys.
Sure. Who,
And-
Amy Madigan. I don't see that she doesn't get some kind of. She's gonna get nominated for something.
She better.
She's so
'Cause it's-
fucking good at it, man.
She's so good. I honestly liked even the little kids acting.
Oh yeah.
I don't pay attention to like little kids acting in
no,
movies,
no.
but like this little kid, he really felt left out
Yes.
of the bunch.
Yes.
I felt really bad for him when he was being left out and when
sure.
he was being shown what his great aunt's powers are.
Yes.
His parents were just stabbing themselves in the face.
By the way, if that's his great at.
If that's yes.
That's
exactly.
the other part.
Yeah,
when
that's
you
the
go,
other thing, right?
when you
Yeah.
go back and look, and you're like, wait, Dad has no idea how they know, and then then his wife says something completely different about how they know her.
Right.
And you're just like, the theory I saw was this woman may be eternal in a lot of ways, and has been just going families to families doing
Yes,
this. You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Oh, just yeah.
Well, the one thing, and you had actually mentioned
Mm-hmm.
this, when she says that the parents got sick with consumption, which if people don't know out there, consumption is what old-timey folks called having tuberculosis.
right.
So when that pops up,
Right.
and I remember you mentioning that to
Right,
me,
right.
when it popped up in the movie, I was like, that is fucking out of place. Like if somebody told me I had consumption, I'd be like, what?
Right. Like,
Are you on the Oregon Trail?
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you. Exactly. Well, it's just like her look. People are saying like it's as if someone walked and said, well, "This is what humans wear, right? This is the
Right.
kind of makeup a woman would wear, right?"
well,
You know?
even when she's popping up in like the dreams,
Oh yes.
and she's just kind of fucking smiling
Yeah,
at everyone.
oh,
I mean, I can't see it, but I got
Oh,
freaked out.
Dude, they freak you. They fuck out, dude. When she's on the roof, of
On the
the
roof,
girl,
yeah.
Jesus H, dude. Like in the theater. I mean, I had to look around and be, please God, did nobody see me just jump like fucking a 10-year-old girl? Like Jesus, man. No, I and again, coming off of Barbarian, which I liked.
Yeah.
But like I saw somebody say, didn't really stick the landing. You know, the ending of
yeah.
Barbarian was a little like, man, I felt like the buildup was for something else. Okay.
agree.
This is where you just go, dude, you knocked it out of the
Weapons
park, man.
definitely, and fucking Josh Brolin, who
Yeah.
I love in any role.
so
Please,
good.
I'll watch him in anything. I'll listen to his voice in anything.
I hear you.
He was so good, especially when he's going after the teacher and like saying like, "Tell us what you did in the classroom," you know, like I felt that anger, you know, like,
Yeah.
And then when he finds his kid and then like the
Oh.
kid's still under the control of the spell.
Yes.
Oh, so good. So
Oh,
good.
well, and even you're not even sure if the kid's a reliable narrator.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
At the beginning, they talk about how the kids, and then when they were never hurt, they never spoke again. But then at the end, he says, "Well, some of them learned to speak again." You know, it's like,
Right.
well, which one is? Like, and I love all that. And I heard an interview with him, the guy who wrote and directed it.
Yeah.
They asked him like, there are things that he will reveal, and there's other things where he's like, I don't really know. Just thought it was kind of interesting to put, like the idea that there's an AR-15 that they show.
Oh yeah.
I thought at first, I was like, oh, is this kind of a parable about school shootings? The idea that a whole classroom disappears.
Yeah.
That's why they're showing the AR-15, on and on and on. The 217, the theory is for those who may not know, this guy used to be in the comedy troupe, The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah.
Very funny, by the way. The Whitest Kids You Know is hilarious. One of the co-creators of that, I believe, took his own life.
Oh. Okay.
And the theory is they believe that's the time of his death, is 217.
Interesting, because I'll tell you
Please.
on Reddit, a platform that I frequent, 2:17 a.m. has become the new witching hour for stories.
Okay.
For scary stories.
Okay.
So a lot of people kind of took that time frame and use it where before they used 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Which was supposed to be the witching hour, the opposite of when Jesus Christ was crucified and all this shit.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
And again,
it's-
I've not heard him necessarily confirm or deny, but I think he just kind of also goes, yeah, go with that. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Which
I like that.
I
I
dig
like
that.
that.
Go with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And who cares? It doesn't
Because it's
have
kind
to-
of a build your own adventure,
It
but
ca-
I'm giving you the ingredients.
Absolutely, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's what's also neat about it. Clearly, it's a story, but it does feel like, well, that could mean something to you that it doesn't mean to me.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoy another one that the hype, and it was like, oh man, I hope this really lives up. And I felt
Yeah.
about an hour into it, I was like, oh yeah, we're good.
Yep,
We're gonna
yep,
be all right.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so good. I really want to actually watch it again.
Yeah.
because I know I missed stuff the first time.
Oh.
Because at one point, Amy and I were just like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god!" You know, so
And they're stabbing
yeah.
their faces.
Yeah,
with the
stabbing their
fork.
faces. Like,
Oh.
at one point, we were like, Amy asked me, "Well, the description said grizzly.
Yeah.
Where's the grizzly part?" And then the grizzly part came out when
When the auntie shows up.
when the auntie shows up at the principal's house.
Oh God,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that part.
Oh,
And like they actually give you a lot of kind of heavy-handed clues as to what's going on
Oh,
with the parasite,
yes.
what they're watching,
go.
right? With
Yes.
the fungus and the
Yes.
ants and stuff like that. Like
Because you watch it back and you go, oh my God. He
Yeah.
was there. Why did
the whole fucking time, right?
But it's just so, they do such a good job with the mystery of it. You never really looking. You're trying to find clues, but you don't realize they're right in front of you.
right in front of you.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
I-
It's really
I-
well made.
Yes.
Really well acted.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it looks great. You know, I'll
Oh,
leave that
yeah,
up
yeah.
to everybody to tell me that it does. But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So
it's
Weapons, if you haven't seen it, and
I-
if we've spoiled it for you, sorry, but go watch it. It's great. you
It's
know.
really good.
All that. What are you listening to?
Quite a bit, actually. My two things that I listened to that were just off the cuff. One, it was a band. It actually came out, I think, 2000. I want to say 21. Got a lot of hype. I knew mutual friends of ours very much liked it. I listened to it. Didn't really. I don't know. Just didn't really do anything for me. And for whatever reason, popped up in a kind of, hey, these are some of the great albums that people forget about. And all right, band's called Arm & Hammer. It's actually two, Billy Woods and Euclid are their rap names.
Okay.
They solo, but when they come together, they're Arm & Hammer. Not Arm and Hammer, but Armand Hammer.
Armand?
Yeah. And they did an album with The Alchemist, who's a DJ I very much enjoy, called Haram. I went back to it, just like one of those ones. I imagine many people have felt this. You ever listen to an album, you just kind of whatever, and then you go back to it one day, and it's like all the tumblers fall right into place, and you
Oh,
go
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh my
for sure.
God, why wasn't I listening to this before? This is it's been on repeat a bunch of times. I'm just really, really digging it. Billy Woods and Euclid, and even especially with Arm & Hammer, they would be described as, I think, what people are calling now like kind of like alternative rap, experimental rap. I mean, it's hip hop, but the beats are weird. Their delivery is unique. They're also very socially conscious. A lot of what they're talking about is, you could say, political to some
Okay.
degree. Very much loving that album. The other one that I cannot stop listening to, and I'm so excited because I love their last album, Volan. Popol Vuh, I think is how you say it.
Popol Vuh.
Vuh. Okay. Thank you.
I love Popol Vuh.
Dude, I love their last album, which I will not even come close to pronouncing in any way, shape, or form. I think it's like AQAD. It's like, I don't even know. I fucking loved that record. That got tons of spin, was definitely on my year-end list and everything else. I know they put out a few like EPs and maybe a single out in between that, and I haven't really paid attention to them. But this came out, and I was very excited. I was like, oh, let me check it out. Man, from the minute it goes, you're just like, the atmosphere they're able to create, very different in the sense of the last album was much more, which I love, that tinny, more like razory guitar sound. Definitely like super lo-fi cult kind of thing. This one, the guitar's a little beefier. It's a little more atmosphere to it, and I really love that. I thought also they like to use a lot of, like, whether it be acoustic or stuff that's more kind of, I know that Guatemalan or
The
band, right?
The,
Is
the
that-
name is Mayan.
Okay, so but they take from essentially like Latin cultures of,
Yeah,
of yesteryear, if you will. So they try to use instrumentation from that and stuff like that, right? And I loved the last one, but it felt like sometimes it was either injected or used at the beginning or the end. Where this one, I felt like the way they integrated it into each song just felt more natural in a lot of ways. It didn't feel as like it took, I cannot get enough of it. I can't wait till it comes out on something I can buy.
I'm gonna recommend a Popol Vuh album to you, and it's the Nosferatu soundtrack.
No, not the band Popopo.
No, I know. But
Oh.
I'm gonna recommend.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just
I'm
want to
gonna
make sure I was saying it right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I got you.
I'm gonna recommend that Popova.
So
to
it's
you.
I read it's a Mayan book or something like
It's
that.
like the Codex of Creation and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't get enough of that. I love Valon. We're lucky enough living here in LA. I've seen them live many times. Always a great show.
Yeah.
And and some of the side ones like Aries Menda, always really good stuff. And and it's also neat that the idea of like they've kind of done their version of like the Norway or the Sweden thing, but they've done it with their culture and put it and injected it into black metal. I love that idea of it, where you can use that to do kind of like there's that one, the death metal one that starts with a T. We saw them open for Sun. Shit. I feel like such a jerk. Because they're using a lot of like Latin culture. They wear like ponchos. They play the drum thing.
Sompantli.
There it is.
Yeah.
Like doing that sort of thing. I think it's so cool, man. When you can kind of like, here's a thing but I'm going to add something to it that you'd probably have never put two together.
Right.
So that really the other stuff I was listening to. A lot of this was the rest of my listening for the most part. Triggered by our last podcast, which was about like divisive albums. So I went back and listened to all those albums that a lot of them were talking about. So Celtic Frost and Emperor and Weezer and stuff like that, which I actually went down a little bit of a Weezer rabbit hole, which was fun.
A Weezer hole.
What else? Like I said, all the most of the ones that we talked about, just kind of revisiting them and just reminding myself of how amazing like some of those really were, just that. So that triggered. The other one that triggered was Friday. I guess they released, God knows how many versions of this album they've released. Another version of John Coltrane's "The Love Below," or "Love Supreme," which I absolutely love that record.
Nice.
This is the monostatic version, or whatever. I just, every Friday when stuff comes out, I go on Spotify and I click on the "What's New."
I thought you were gonna say every Friday they release a version of this album.
At this point, they may be doing that. Quite frankly, it's like, how many versions can we get here? I imagine the first one was put out in mono, then they put out a stereo version. Aren't we kind of done?
Yeah.
But I'm sure if they could find him, farting into a saxophone, they'll revamp that, put it out. So anything to make more money off the guy, poor guy. Well, his family let them get all the money in the world. Anyway, just to say, they put out a new version of it, and I was like, you know what? I haven't listened to that album in too long. And more importantly, I hadn't listened to jazz in a while. And that sent me down a huge rabbit hole, listening to some of my favorite ones. Ones I would definitely recommend to people. There's some of my favorite. Miles Davis's Nefertiti album, probably my all-time favorite jazz record. Money Jungle, which is a really great one with Duke Ellington, Max Roach on drums, and what's his name? Charles Mingus on bass, which is really cool because taking that old school of somebody like Duke Ellington, who is in many ways I've heard him described as kind of America's Mozart. You know what I mean? With what he was writing jazz standards, to this day, these are just still jazz standards, but that older style of jazz. To see him kind of embrace these guys who are trying to do newer and different things with jazz, I love that. And that Money Jungle album, I would highly recommend to people. Sonny Rollins is another one I love. What's the album? Was it The Bridge? I heard, I don't know how true this is, but for Simpsons fans, Bloody Gums, the sax player, Bleeding Gums Murphy.
Yeah.
As you know, the episode where Lisa finds him, he's playing saxophone on a bridge.
Yeah.
Apparently, I have read, I don't know if this is true or not, but the rumor is inspired by Sonny Rollins, who at one point kind of disappeared for a while and was playing on bridges to try to get better because he wanted to kind of hone his craft better, and came back with his comeback album called The Bridge.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So I always thought that was
That's
kind
cool.
of, again, I hope that's true. I don't know. But
It's, you know what? As far as we know, it's true.
I'm going to go with true. Print the legend. Again, Coltrane's Love Below, another one that I love from him, Ole, fantastic record. When he starts to get into some of the later years of Ascension and stuff like that, where it's more freeform jazz, not really my thing, but, Coltrane is, God. He's amazing. Art Blakely is another one I love. I listened to his album, Night in Tunisia. Really cool. One of the things I love about him is Art Blakely is a drummer, and essentially the people who have gone through, it's Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers is always what it's called.
Okay.
The Jazz Messengers was a rotating group. It's never the same people for more than maybe 3 or 4 albums.
Right.
But it's pretty much a who's who of great jazz players kind of go through Art Blakey. And what I love is because as a drummer, most of the jazz records he does, there's an energy to it, as the drummer back there. And he's a legendary jazz drummer in general, but you name a great jazz player, he's most likely gone through Blakey at some point. Been on one of his albums. That one, Moanin', is another great Art Blakey album I would definitely recommend to people. And the last one that I listened to with jazz-wise, Milt Jackson, the vibraphone is what he plays, or the xylophone, however you want. The vibes, if you're really into jazz. I fucking love the sound in general, and it sounds so amazing in jazz. Like it doesn't get used a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, Milt Jackson is like the guy if you want to hear some great fucking vibes with some jazz. He's got one with Miles Davis, is fantastic. All of his records are really, really good. If you like that tone, that sound, I would recommend anything from Milt
There's
Jackson.
a weird thing.
Please.
I've claimed for the longest time that I don't like jazz.
I understand, yeah.
And one of my brothers, who's very much into
Mm-hmm.
jazz, when he plays it, I recognize it.
Right on.
So I think I've heard more of it than I
I got you.
care to admit, I think, at this point. And it's not that it's like
No.
horrible or whatever.
No, I got you.
But yeah, so my brother is very much into jazz. Like
Right
he
on.
has like a bunch of these albums that
Right
I'm
on.
like listing off. So I'm like, I know that one.
I
know
always
that
feel,
one.
look, to be honest, I always feel pretentious when I even mention the fact that I like jazz because I know what baggage comes with it. And I cannot pretend to sit here and know, oh man, he's playing like between the notes, man. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't understand it. I don't in that way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
me either. See, that's the thing, me either. And I have said before that the only thing more annoying than jazz are people who listen to jazz.
Sure. No, listen, I get it. Like I said, I try not to, because I know the baggage that comes with it. I
Sure,
do.
yeah.
I just, look, what I hear and I like. I don't know, you know what I mean? There are certain things I can pick out. One of the things I love about Nefertiti, for instance, there are, I believe, 3 songs on that album that do it, 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Something very different. Like here's the other part. Like, I understand what bop and hard bop is, but I don't know that I can necessarily pick it out per se.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't pretend to know these things in any way. I just know what I like.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
on Nefertiti, for instance, two of the songs for sure that I think is so neat that they do. Normally, and even that doesn't really mean anything when it comes to jazz, but normally your bass and drums keep a rhythm.
Sure.
The solos are usually your horns, maybe a piano. It's not to say the drummer doesn't get to do a solo either. He will, and maybe the bass player will. But for the most part, they're holding it down while everyone else gets to solo. There's 2 songs where the horns, they're holding it down, and the rest of them get to solo. And that's just so different and so cool that I think it's one of the reasons why that one's my favorite one.
Right on.
But yeah, again, I do not profess to know jazz. I just know what I like.
Yeah,
And that's really it. I'm not by any stretch. I don't play an instrument. I don't understand it. I watched a thing like about what's his name, John Coltrane's Giant Steps, and talking about how it's almost like a math equation. And I was just like, yeah, you lost me. I don't fucking understand it, dude. I know I like that song. I like that album, but
It sounds cool, but I'm not going to get it.
Well, I also learned in that was like the piano player. So everybody gets to solo, but the idea is you're soloing off the riff, so you have to keep it in the time, or
In the
you kind
pocket,
of
right.
yeah, you're or the if it's in C major, we're gonna keep it. If that's a thing, I don't even know if C
It
major
is,
is.
yeah.
Okay, good. Woo. I got lucky. I got very lucky. You're all kind of staying in C major, but you're surround. You're going around it, kind of thing.
Right.
I didn't realize this till I watched a small little podcast about it. The piano player completely fucks up, and they kept the take. Now, I'd listened to that song a million times. I was just like, I don't know. He's jazz, man. He's doing his thing. And then you find out, oh, no. This guy clearly was above his pay grade. And then they still kept it on the record.
I always imagine these the jazz musicians being the type that what's like one of them looks to the other ones and says, all right, it's in the key of G. Just follow my lead. Blah, blah, blah. And then they fucking start jamming out. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. But it sounds cool.
I'm with you. And I don't
right?
think you're too far off, to be honest with you. And again, this is somebody who doesn't play an instrument and really doesn't know.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't play an instrument.
No,
either.
well, come on.
I mean,
But
compared to these folks,
and it is to say, that's why I like freeform jazz for the most part. Seeing it live, I've seen it a couple times. I've watched some freeform jazz,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I listen to Ornette Coleman's, Shape of Jazz to Come and enjoy it. I don't.
Right.
I don't get it. Keith Jarrett banging on a fucking piano. I'm not against it. I love the art of it. Do your thing. I want to see jazz expand and the things that people love about jazz now, people hated when they first did it. So, keep doing it. It's just to say, that's not for me. I'll be over here. You know what I mean? And the last one, thanks to you, again, triggered by our discussion, I finally listened to John Prine, and I listened to the first
hell
album
yeah.
that you had recommended.
Yeah.
I want to apologize to Mr. Prine. I'm sorry that I wasn't listening to you when you were alive.
It's pretty
'cause
good, right?
It's damn good.
Yeah.
Number one, a hell of a good songwriter. Like,
Very good song.
really just simple, good stuff. But man, lyrically, you're like, that motherfucker's writing stories,
Yes,
man. You
yes,
know?
yeah.
The most I had ever known of him prior to his death, he had helped write, though he took his name off the credit, a song that David Allan Coe made popular called You Don't Even Call Me By My Name.
Right.
I don't know why he took his name off. I've never read anything that says why he took his name off of it, but he did help write that song. So I always loved that song, and but again, liking a song he wrote doesn't necessarily coincide. But so it's like, again, a person I had kind of known, like I said in our last, when he passed, to see the outpouring was like,
Yeah.
am I missing something here?
That's how I felt.
Yeah, but
And I knew Amy's family were all big fans, and so like whenever we'd go over there, they'd play his music on the Bluetooth speaker, and everyone's singing along, and I felt left out. because I'm like, I don't know where did this guy come from?
right.
But yeah,
Like how we're pretty again. Obviously, we don't know everybody.
Yeah.
But we're pretty deep into music. And it's
Pretty-
just like,
yeah, I mean-
he died, and it was like, who the fuck is John Prine?
that's how I was. I'm
And it was just
what
like-
the fuck? And then to find out he's been everywhere, right? Which again, it just shows how sometimes how isolated we can be,
No-
even without,
Yes.
So,
But
yeah.
all that is to say, very much enjoyed it. I
yeah.
hope to go a little deeper into his stuff. Great voice, good songs. I do love that kind of. Some of them feel a little subversive, like, oh, this feels happy, and then you're listening, like, oh, well, anyway, it's not horrible, but you're like, no, he's actually saying something to you.
Yeah,
People.
yeah,
Are you listening?
yeah.
Like, oh shit, look at you,
Yeah,
bro.
he's a great song, like just songwriter in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Feels like an outsider who somehow also could make it in from time to time.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
And just the sense I get is a guy who did it his way, and it may not have made him super famous, but he never had to dig a ditch in his life either.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So thank you very much. And
Right on. Cool,
the
man.
kick in the ass that I needed to finally just go, why have I not bothered already?
Yeah.
And listen to that first album, really enjoyed it. How about yourself? What you been listening to?
So I actually just sent you the name of a band.
Okay.
So if you could take a quick look, I know we're
No.
taking up listeners'
All
times
good.
here,
No,
but
no,
I
no,
want
no,
you
no.
to see how this is spelled because
Holy
I have
moly.
no idea.
All right, here we go. Because I won't pretend to. Oh, good God Almighty!
It's,
I do know this band though. I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. I'm definitely gonna spell it. If I try to say
Yeah,
this,
just spell it,
no.
yeah,
CHTHE apostrophe I. Oh, sorry, my glasses are a little.
Is it
messed up.
INIST?
ILIST.
Okay.
They're like
So-
French, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I got from some of those titles.
I mean, the
Cathelist?
The chillest? I'm gonna say chillest. Is
The chillest?
probably
I mean,
not-
they are pretty chill.
They are the
so.
chillest. They are a name I've certainly seen. I know of this band.
That album, well, they have the one album on Spotify of all
Okay.
the platforms. It's really good.
Okay.
It's really fucking
Well,
good.
the again, we're using Spotify here. The fans also enjoy thing has a lot of great bands that are.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Dead Congregation. Our Place of Worship is Silence.
Yes, yeah.
Feather and Bone.
Yep.
Trivium Foul. I mean, those are some Vastum.
Bastum. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's
Okay.
death metally, black metally at parts.
Okay.
Really, you know what? I'll even say it. Kind of jazzy in parts.
Oh,
with
interesting.
Some of
Okay.
the little riffing that they do, and the drummer is a beast.
Okay.
And the only reason they popped up is because I play in another band,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody who's trying out for that band said we reminded him of this band.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it was kind of
Okay.
weird to hear, and especially because I know the songwriting that goes into the band that we're trying to form up. it's nothing like this. I think this is fucking great.
I
Yeah.
got you. I
I
got
think
you.
this is so fucking crazy music. It's cool though. It's really good. And I just love the one album. I'm not gonna try to say the name of the album.
No,
There are French words in there that I don't want to insult any of our French.
Well,
listeners.
I'm looking them up as I am listening, but I did want to. They are French Canadian. They're from Quebec.
Quebec. All right.
Yes,
All
they
right.
are from America's hat.
All right. The 51st state.
Yes, someday, God willing.
So I have been listening to them. The other band that I kind of happened upon,
Mm-hmm.
I never knew about this band before. They're called None, None,
None. Okay.
ambient black metal sounding.
Yes.
Fucking great
Yeah, yeah,
music.
yeah.
I love this band. I don't know where they come from. Frankly, I don't care. I just like
I
that
hear
they're
you.
around.
No. I hear you.
They have 3 or 4 albums available that I just keep returning back to. And again, it's ambient black metal. So
I think a mutual friend of ours, Eric, is a big fan of them.
Oh, right on. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I had one of their albums once. Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love. They have I think it's a song called Rest, which just guts me. Oh, it's so fucking sad.
Well, they fall into that, and I know that genre doesn't. It pisses a lot of people off, and it kind of died away. But that kind of depressive black metal,
yes.
they
So
definitely have that feel to it.
it's that depressive, again, ambient
Yes.
stuff, which I happened upon them because I was listening to Cold World's Melancholia.
Fucking Cold World. Oh my
Which
god.
a
Those first two
great
especially.
fucking
I
album.
love Cold World.
Yeah.
German also. Yeah.
German, yeah.
That's when it felt like everything I ever loved about any black metal band was coming out of Germany, man. Like Cold World. Ugh.
Then there was this other band, which I don't know if you knew about or if you remember, but they were called Basarab.
No, but then again, you're probably saying it correctly, and I'd have to see it. So, the name, no.
I think the album is called Pride of Old Times, something to that effect.
Okay, all right.
But it's the same effect that you get from those first 2 Cold World albums.
Oh, okay,
And that Basarab is only on YouTube as far as I know.
okay,
But that fucking album, god damn what an album.
okay.
It's so good.
Okay, because I mean, like I said, yeah, I'm with you. Those Cold World albums.
Yeah.
I the first two. I like the third one. He got a little more atmospheric. It's a little sunnier.
It feels like the clouds are dissipating on that one.
Yeah, where those first two are just like.
It is a cold world. Yeah. So I've been kind of revisiting those 2 bands and
Dude.
listening to None. And then
I'll be putting Cold World on my list this week for sure.
Catalyst, which I really enjoyed, Catalyst, or however you say
I will
that.
check them out. Yeah, I'm not going to even, again, I'm not trying. Just going to embarrass myself. So.
I revisited kind of an old hardcore-ish, post-hardcore band called Ink and Dagger, which I
Okay.
mentioned to you.
Yeah.
Fucking great music.
Right on.
It is of its time, but it is also enough where you can kind of see where like other bands took from this.
Oh, okay.
And made it something else, right? Ink and Dagger have a very, very vast catalog of music, so there's a lot of stuff to kind of, if one were to start, they can honestly just jump in anywhere.
Right on.
Like I usually tell people just go to the first album, but on Ink and Dagger you can kind of pick it up anywhere and it's gonna be great.
All right.
Another one kind of surprised me was Coheed and Cambria.
Really? Yeah. Wow. I'm glad I'm sitting down. I would not in a million years.
So, what was his name? Richard, ex-drummer of Death, went on the Howard Stern show.
Oh, Richard Christie.
Richard Christie loves Coheed and Cambria.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I knew this from back in the day when I would listen to Howard Stern. He would always go to the shows, and I never really got into why he loved them so much. And they recently played out here. And I told myself, well, you know what? Some of these shows are either selling out, or I know a lot of people that are going to end up at this show.
Yeah.
I should listen to this band. And holy shit, what a great fucking band.
Right on.
Very emotional music, but it's really fucking good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess part of me goes, I'm surprised mainly because the number one band they get what do I want to say associated with
Yeah.
is usually Rush, and I think that has more to do with the vocals than anything else.
Yes.
And because they're
Yeah.
progressive.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I mean, it's one of those ones where I feel like you say that and then you listen to them and you go like, well, okay, if you took away those two things, they sound nothing like Rush.
Right.
Other than being a
Yes.
progressive rock band. Like this, well, then you could say every band. Like, this is stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then again, I'm not surprised because I know how much, like, there's a whole story going on. They did, like, comic books with it
Yep,
and everything
yep.
else. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, just
Coheed and Cambria. I started at the beginning.
right on.
And I fucking loved it.
Right
It's
on.
really fucking good. I'm actually kicking myself for not getting into them sooner.
Yeah,
Because I
no.
think I would have enjoyed going to see them play.
Sure.
But as it is with a lot
Oh,
of bands,
God knows, yeah. Well, if I had to kick myself for every time I finally got into a band, my God,
I'd have no ass.
Yeah, absolutely. My legs would be falling off.
Kicked it right off.
Absolutely. No, that's cool. That's right on. Like I said, I won't pretend to be a fan, but they're a damn good band. I mean, people really love them. And I think what I always dug about them, if nothing else, was just the part where it's like, if you're into them, there's so much you can get into outside of just buying their records.
Totally,
And the
yeah.
idea that they all kind of tie together with this bigger story they're telling, which is about Coheed and Cambria, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They're the main characters in all of this. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got into them,
Right on.
and then I went backwards and listened to a couple of oldies. X, the punk band from Los Angeles, who have a great fucking album with the Los Angeles album. Wild Gift is another great one. John Doe, who a lot of people know from his own music. He's also been an actor. And his one-time partner, or few times partner, Exene Cervenka, who is kind of a wackadoo now.
Now? Anyway, yes.
Yeah. Maybe more now than
Yeah,
before.
more now than ever, maybe. Is
Yeah.
the better way.
But yeah, I mean, they fucking X is, for me, one of the like penultimate punk rock and roll bands.
Yeah, I've tried. I don't know. Especially that album, Los Angeles.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people revere it. They're one of those bands that definitely is like. When I hear the word punk, I have to always realize like it doesn't just start with Black Flag. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right,
So it's like they do songs that, quite frankly, are clearly rock songs or
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that's
Like
influenced by
rockabilly.
country and
Yeah,
rockabilly
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff like that. And it just like I think I went into it going like, here we go, and I was like, wait, what is it? But this isn't.
One
you
of the
know.
reasons I think I associate them so much with punk is because of how different each person in the band.
Oh, very
was,
yeah. No, great
right?
point. Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
like, you had the poet John Doe.
Yes.
You had the kind of incredibly eccentric Exene Cervenka.
Yes.
You had the rockabilly guy
Yep.
in Billy Zoom,
Yep.
and then DJ Bonebreak out of fucking left field
Yeah.
comes in and just becomes the great drummer that he is.
No doubt.
And then you put it together, and it's these really cohesive, well-written songs.
Yeah.
And they had great lyrics, very poetic lyrics, which is what attracted Raymond Zarek of
Yep.
one tiny little garage band known as The Doors.
Yep.
Yeah, so like I got into them a bit again, and I jumped around from them to Agnostic Front,
Oh, right.
another one of my favorite bands who are just coming out with a new album.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I did kind of stick around in the Victim in Pain, Cause for Alarm era
Okay.
of Agnostic Front, which is, my favorite era of
Okay.
Agnostic Front. Went to Black Flag, right back into Rollins Band.
Right on. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Now you're speaking my language.
So my brother actually asked me what the difference was with Rollins Band and Black Flag, and I had to kind of sit him down and be like, "Here, let me be a good big brother and show
Yeah.
you." And I gave him some songs, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is
Way more expansion. There's
way more expansion,
and
way more
angular.
musical,
Yeah. Well, the musicians were a little
a little bit more,
on the musician side.
yeah, like Greg Ginn. I will always say Greg Ginn is Black Flag,
Absolutely. No, I got you.
and he was great at that time.
Sure. Well, Black Flag did what Black Flag needed to do. I
Yes,
mean, but
yeah, totally.
Rollins wanted to expand. He had other influences and brought in. They were more bluesy in a lot of
More
ways. They
which
even had
I-
a song Blues Jam. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I'm a big blues oriented music guy anyway. So when Rollins Band came around and it was fucking heavy and still aggressive as hell.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I
love I all the way to Wait. When he got the new
Same.
band,
Same.
there's songs I like, but it just didn't feel. It didn't have the same. It was too rock and roll for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still liked it. There's at one point he even did a cover of Ain't It Fun by the Dead Boys. which I fucking love
Right on.
Rollins' takes on this. But yeah, so I showed him Rollins Band, and
Nice.
in the interim, I also enjoyed it. But those are pretty much what I was listening to.
Right on. Hey, it's
Yeah,
good
so
shit.
A good chorale of music on both of our sides. I
Hell
think,
yeah,
this time
man.
around.
Well, actually, I got last one for me was actually I just threw him in the car because I watched one of those. I'm introduced to it for the first time, but he also plays instruments, and it's like, okay, I'm just now getting into what's called post-hardcore. So there's this band called Drive Like Jehu, and I was like, well, that's all I need to put Drive Like Jehu in the car. Thank you very much. I will now go listen to Drive Like Jehu.
Hell yeah.
Because any excuse to listen to Drive Like Jehu,
Drive Like Jehu is
I fucking love them.
badass. Yeah.
Underrated, huge. I feel like they're. Maybe it's just because of my algorithm more than anything, but there is a sense where I'm like, are they kind of getting a little bit of a comeback? Is there a little bit of start to get more recognition?
I'm gonna be honest. I was always aware. I think the people that I was around,
Certainly,
because they're. I come up in.
I
punk.
hear you. No, totally.
We all
understand.
knew about them.
Yes.
Like we all knew that was one of the bands to kind of aspire to.
Yeah, yes.
Right. Whether they played the same type of music we played.
Right,
or not,
right.
That was one of the good guys.
I hear you.
bands, right? Because they held it down musically, and then they held it down lyrically and
Yes.
politically and everything. So, yeah, Drive Like Jehu.
Just feels like right now, again, maybe my algorithm on YouTube's and other places just feels like there's a moment that maybe is burgeoning where suddenly newer ears are being turned on to this band. I mean, 2 albums, and what a stamp they left.
Oh yeah. I would be super into
Yeah,
them coming back.
Same. I think more people. I don't know why you wouldn't like them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're so good. But anyway, I'd not take away from your
No,
list.
no.
I just you reminded me of another one. Yeah, I just Rollins Band is. I love Henry Rollins. I love listening to him speak. He's always got interesting takes on shit, and one of those guys you can go back pretty far and you can find him saying something that now is like what everybody would say.
Yep.
But he was kind of a lone voice.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow, this
Still
guy has walked it
applies,
like he talked it.
Super fucking profound
Yeah.
guy. I know maybe some people didn't like what he did with Black Flag or on his own or whatever, but I think he's always been a guy who kind of did it for himself, right? He didn't have to prove himself to many people,
Right.
and even less people once he started his label and putting out his own books and whatnot. He got to travel the world, and I would have loved to have been in his shoes at any given time of his career.
He did it his way. I mean, and literally in the song,
Yeah, yeah.
as the song would say. I mean, he did it, and
Yeah,
and achieved quite a bit. The fact that anything he did was a hit, when you consider what he was doing and how it was done, it's massive to say the least.
Yeah,
and
I mean, and being in punk bands when I was younger, of course, Get in the Van is one of the quote Bibles that we all
Fantastic.
look at,
Yeah.
and it's just like I want to do this one day.
right.
Maybe like him,
Sure,
but
sure.
maybe not, because I'm not gonna last like that.
It's such a moment. It encapsulates such a moment in time. When,
Yeah.
Just when he's talking about walking around with a bucket of glue and putting up posters.
Putting up
it's like,
posters,
wow.
yeah,
There's a whole generation that fucking have a clue what that is. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, no.
So yeah.
Hey,
So check out all these bands.
Please.
Check out all these. Check out the movies, and we'll talk to you soon.
later.
Howdy, folks. Thank you so much for spending time with us here at the Rehearsal Room. If you've got any recommendations you'd like for us to check out, whether it's a band, a movie, or anything else you think we'd be interested in, you can write to us at therehearsalroompod@gmail.com, all one word. We're also over on Instagram or Facebook, or even YouTube. You can also find us on any of the popular platforms for podcasts. And if you happen to know anybody that would be interested in any of the subjects we're talking about, please make sure to refer this show over to them. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to us, and we'll catch you soon.